Welcome to another episode of THRS Deep Cuts. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Brendan.
Tim.
We're here for another live stream. Hopefully you're all having a good week so far. Tonight we're going to talk about the latest releases from Velvet Starlings and Kryptos, as well as a classic from the Screaming Jets. Have a lot of other stuff like Hard Rock Happenings and everything else to get through soon, as well as a little hot topic that was kicked off by a little post put up on the Facebook page yesterday, which has gone a bit pear-shaped in some respects. But we'll get to all that very, very soon. Before we get stuck into things, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, comment, share. All those things are important to us. If you want to follow us, make sure you look at the post or the description of this, wherever you're tuning into this from. You can follow us on your preferred social media platform via those links. And while you're there, check out our fantastic sponsors too, in Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their links and details, just like ours, are in the description or the post of this wherever you're tuning in. So please find them, give them a follow, show them a little bit of love for the help they give us here at the show. But before we get stuck into things, we'll do the rounds. So let's go to you first, Brendan. How have you been? It's been a little while since you've actually been on the stream. We've seen you chatting back and forth. On the stream's a bit of a break for you.
Yeah, a bit all right. I feel better now. I've actually seen Tim's shirt. That's cool. I've been tweeting on that before. That's awesome.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm progressively going down the fucking rabbit hole like everyone else at the moment and losing my shit. But keep saying there's light at the end of the tunnel. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. But geez, I'd kill just on a sunny afternoon, just be able to sit in the pub and have a pint and a punt and talk shit. That's really all I want.
Yeah. Cool. I'll get to some comments in a second. Thank you everyone for jumping in. Got some new people happening on Twitch too, so thanks for joining us tonight. We'll get to say hello to everyone in a second. But Dave, it's also been a little bit of a break for you, so how are you going?
Yeah, not too bad. Making the most of what we can. Back to work for a couple of days each week, but been busy with school holidays. Kids have been home and no home learning to occupy them, so it's been up to me and Julia to try and keep them busy. So we occupied them with music, movies, games. We did a science day, so we did all types of experiments, which was cool.
Cool.
And I'm proud of my daughter. She's seen her very first horror movie, so well done.
Nice.
Age appropriate movie called The Monster Squad, the old movie from the 80s. Got some things that went over her head, but yeah, it was still pretty fun. So she's seen some vampires and werewolves, so it's all cool. It's the month for horror too, of Halloween approaching.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's all good. Can't complain too much, and they're going back to school in a couple of weeks for a couple of days, so we're slowly getting back to normal. Just
cool.
Try and keep positive. We're almost there, and Christmas and Halloween's approaching. So, and daylight saving days are longer. Barbecue weather. I'm happy.
Nice. So Tim, let's touch base with you. You're in the ISO world still. How's it all going for you?
I'm never going to complain about a room being stuffy again, because when you're stuck in the same room for now almost a week, like between like a TV and an Xbox and your own body heat, you don't realize how hot a room can get.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck this. So, yeah. Like my greatest pleasures these days is just like taking a shit. Like that's like me going on holiday. So that's what ISO is like.
All right.
It could be worse, to be honest.
So we're actually talking about Limp Bizkit a little later.
Yeah.
Nice.
Vacation for the senses.
Yeah.
Andrew, how are you?
Doing better than you, obviously. No, I'm all good. It's just been another busy week as always, but productive behind the scenes, getting things done. It's always busy, but yeah, generally speaking, life's pretty good. Can't complain too much. Not a lot to add. I'm here every week, every stream we do. So those who've been following along, just know it's pretty much same old, same old. It's status quo as far as I'm concerned. Just working, listening, doing this, and just keep on keeping on. So all good. We are getting some very interesting comments via Twitch, though, tonight, which is, I'm going to get to those because it's probably more interesting than anything I'm going to say about my days. So before we get stuck into that, Sally on Facebook, hey, guys, good to see you here. Nice to have the regulars with us. Good to have you, Sally. Nudes, another regular of ours. Thanks for jumping in. Make sure you enjoy the show tonight, 10 p.m. local time. Adelaide, Channel 44 is the TV broadcast for tonight over there. Dean's also on Facebook saying, hey, lads, good to see you here. You did tell us in the Patreon page that you'd be joining us tonight, so thank you for doing so. And then we get to Twitch. So Andrew Wiz's daddy says hello. And then we've got Gonzi 2007, hello. And then Gonzi says, nice haircut. I'm not sure which of the four of us you're referring to, but I can also thank you on behalf.
All the hairdressers are closed, so we're all free maining it right
now. Andrew Wiz Daddy with the question of the night, probably early on, is who's got the best coochie? I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Well, we call it the chin rest here.
Well played, sir. Well played. So there we go. Nudes has gone. My first horror was Poltergeist. So in response to that, that'd be a good little sidebar here. It's Halloween month. Your first horror movie. Put that in the comments if you're watching along. Just as a little sidebar here, just for something fun to talk about tonight.
Mine was The Exorcist.
Mine was Blade.
What was that?
Exorcist.
Blade. Yeah, mine was Blade.
Okay, Dave, you go.
Exorcist.
Okay, Tim.
Blade.
Wow. Okay, Brendan.
I'm younger than you guys.
Yes, you are. It's just funny. That really strikes home. It's like when Brendan told us the other day about the different stints of bass players in Metallica. So there you go. But anyway, Brendan, your first horror movie?
The Thriller video clip.
Ooh, yeah. That's
fair. That's fair.
That scared the shit out of me when I was like 7. All right.
Yeah.
Man, Vincent Price, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's not bad. First one I actually sat down to watch. Shit. This isn't probably the first one I sat down to watch, but it's the one that comes to mind first of all was Arachnophobia. That was, I didn't watch a lot of them when I was a kid, so that was when we started doing that sort of stuff. That's the one that first sort of jumps to mind. I don't think it was the first one I watched, but it's the first one sort of leaps in there. So
I think Poltergeist might have been the first horror film I saw, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a few Stephen King ones. Elm Street ones, Stephen King ones were kicking around back then too. So there's always a few.
Kids were raised on Stephen King.
Yeah.
Well, Amityville too. I remember like, Amityville always used to come out of parties, sleepovers.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but
another one. Yeah.
Werewolf in London. They were just all over.
First Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
just
actually.
That stands out. Yeah.
The first ones of all those series have held up really well. One of the more underrated ones. Hey?
Evil Dead.
Hellraiser.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
That's got some
Evil
comments
Dead's
here as well. That is the original is great. 3's hilarious. The original is Hills Have Eyes. Yeah. I used to live in a haunted house, and like people may not believe in it, but I've seen shit in that house. And so for shits and giggles, I used to watch The Exorcist alone at 3 a.m. in a haunted house, just because I'm a fucking idiot. So think of that what you will a long time ago. Got some comments here, which is cool. Lee McDonald says, Andrew, the man of the people, dedicated to the cause as always. Well, I would turn that back at you because you're on working in health right now, not me. So you deserve that credit much more than any of us do. So thank you for what you do. Dean, keen to hear your thoughts on Uncaged Festival. We'll be getting to that very, very soon. But he also said his first was Paranormal Activity. Fucking hell, here we go.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. That'd be.
I love that movie.
Yeah, the first one's pretty good. I'll pay credit. I love that for the sound
first
effects.
One's fantastic.
Yeah. The Foley work in that was fucking awesome. That hiss and thump when the chandelier gets shaken, that's still a fucking standout moment for me. I love that noise.
Yeah, I still want
that
movie.
What was that?
First Saw movie was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, first Saw was good. Like, Scream was good.
Scream's fantastic.
Mate, first Scream's a ripper.
Yeah.
Copycat's better.
Yeah,
Copycat's better.
Copycat was Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, and Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I haven't seen that in years.
That's really good. Yeah. There we go. Matt Blades over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us tonight. He's gone Evil Dead for the first one there. Lee says, I spit on your grave and Cujo. Now there's, Cujo. Yeah, that's a good one. Sally responded to the Twitch comment saying, Hoochie or Coochie, my first was something called Parasite. I don't recall seeing that movie, so...
Are we talking about Hoochie and Coochie? Parasite?
What about Poochie?
Mary's jumped in on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, Mary. Exorcist original or Friday the 13th original. So, yeah, those are some good ones as well. An old movie called Warlock wasn't bad back in the day, too. That was a really big movie. Yeah,
that's good.
That was another one back then. What else have we got here? Damien Murphy, good to see you here. Gremlins, and I was so scared when they were hatching. I pretended I needed to go to the toilet, so I would leave the room. Wow. Mogwai.
I still laugh my fucking ass off when that old lady goes up the stairs on that chair and goes flying out the window. That's so funny.
My grandparents took me to the cinema to see that. It could have been what killed them. I'm not sure.
We are getting real dark real early on tonight's show. So Sally's gone, I believe you. I see them too. Okay, good to know I'm not alone in the whole haunted house thing. Darren said, I saw some of The Exorcist around the time I was in primary school. Scarred my mind for a long time. That movie has a knack for doing some really stupid things to your head, but also, let Jesus fuck you is one of the most all-time lines in the movie.
But if you watch it now, it's funny. It's really odd.
I know. It's funny how your perspective shifts on things.
Yeah.
Actually,
did you go quite a bit?
Yeah. Did any of you go and see the re-release in the cinema?
Yeah, that's the first time I saw it.
That was a cool experience, though. That was a cool experience. Seeing it in the cinema was different again.
They added that scene in when she did like the crab walk up the stairs.
Spider walk, yeah,
which had no.
But also little things.
Shit.
There's subliminal imagery as well.
What was that?
There's subliminal imagery in the director's cut, like where it could be behind the door. And there's like a black spot. You see like the demon just
the face. Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the little things they put into the movie in that edition of it. Dean also said Scream was awesome, loved it. And Nude says original Gremlins script had them tear Billy's mum's head off and then roll it down the stairs. I would have loved to have seen that. I didn't know that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, well, the second Gremlins had Hulk Hogan in it, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to rip your head off and shit down your neck.
Slayer, so that was okay.
Yes. Yes. So yeah. Anyway, if you're here watching along, keep the comments coming. Let us know what your favorite or first horror movies were as we go along. Sally's gone, what's the one with all the nails in his head? That's Hellraiser, isn't it?
Yeah. Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Yeah. The Motorhead track for that is
great movie character.
Yeah, there it is. Darren's gone Hellraiser. So yep, that's another one too.
It's a better cover than it was movie. Like the actual cover of the VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That image is iconic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dog, what are you doing? Caesar's doing something silly on the floor there, but all right, we'll see what he gets through. Let's have some fun here. Let's move it along before we get stuck into the grinding. Let's get into the hard rock happenings. Make sure, like I said, keep going with the comments about your favorite or first horror movies. Speaking of this kind of stuff, actually, it's not too bad to start off here. The first bit of hard rock happenings we're going to talk about is a little band called Witchgrinder, and today they released a pretty cool cover of a song. So in the comments, it's also in the post as well, but in the comments we're putting Witchgrinder and their cover of Through the Never from Metallica. Just been released today, was recorded by Chris the Melk at Monolith Studios, and we're all big fans of the band here. So let's do the rounds and see what we all thought of it. Let's go to you first, Dave.
Yeah, it is a fantastic cover. It's faithful to the original. They got their own stamp on it. Video clip's pretty cool. The solo's fucking great. I love how they just start out faithful and then he puts his own spin, a little bit of extra shredding towards the end. It's very cool. Vocals were great. Riffing is heavy and great song from the Black Album, and they did a great job with it. I loved it.
Cool. Agree, Brendan?
Yeah, I loved it too. I like Witchgrinder and I like Metallica, so it's a bit hard. I would have been really surprised if they'd fucked it up.
True.
Dave said it perfectly. They kept true enough to the original that it doesn't, give you the shits, and they certainly added it sounded like Witchgrinder, so it was good. Kind of perfect way to do a cover. I thought it was great, which I don't know if you guys have talked about the Black Album cover album much, or
not really. No.
Listen to the 5 5,000 different versions of every song, but it's that itself is an interesting experience because there's a lot of love-hate going on in there. But this was this would have been more than worthy of being on there. To be honest, it probably would have been one of the highlights if it was. Yeah. So yeah, loved it.
Cool. And Tim?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Yep.
There's been a lot of Metallica covers recently, and this is one of the better ones. And Witchgrinder are a good band, and it sounds like Witchgrinder playing Metallica. So that's how you do
it. Yeah, well, it's 4 from 4 for me. It's a good song to begin with, but they made it a bit heavier. I like the darker tones they put in there. And also the little effects they used on this one too. Little different, sonics on the guitar bits and bits of like synth or Foley in the break of the song was really cool. Just some little bits and pieces that made it their own. But it's got a really simplistic and cool video as well, which was a nice touch. They didn't do too much with it. I mean, it's hard to do much at the moment with isolation rules, but they did a very good job with the blue filter on it all and made it look and sound pretty cool. So not much to not like about it. I think if you like Metallica, if you like the song at all, if you like Witchgrinder at all, any of those things, if you like metal, check it out. I reckon it's a great fucking little thing there. Something great and well done. Now let's go to one that's going to be a little bit more divisive, I'm sure. That was going to be Uniform. This one's going to be far from uniform in opinion. So let's go to it. This is it's Limp Bizkit with Dad Vibes. This is a new single from the band. So it's in the comments and it's in the description, the link to this one, Limp Bizkit, Dad Vibes. It's a lyric video, but it is the newest single from the band. And Tim, let's go to you first on this one. What did you make of it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Granted, it was hard to fuck up. Like this is not groundbreaking. This is not anything you haven't heard before. It's a basic beat with a loud, soft dynamic and some down-tuned guitars with Fred Durst over the top of it. And cool. Depends on your opinion. Whether you like it or not is going to depend on whether your opinion on that formula. And I like that formula, so I'm okay with it. If Limp Bizkit were playing at a festival and they played that song, I'd be perfectly happy.
All right. Cool. Let's go. I know this is going to be opposites day on this one, so Dave, let's go to you next.
Oh, this is the best thing ever. You'll never hear me say that about fucking Limp Bizkit. This band is a fucking joke. Christ. They've always been a joke, and it's not going to change. This, as far as the song goes, I don't hate it simply because it's not worth hating. It's just 2 minutes and 18 seconds of complete crap. I don't even know why it's a song that's like 2 minutes and 18 seconds gets released as a single. I don't think they got the talent to write a longer one. And I listened to this on YouTube so I could delete it from my history. That way it doesn't fuck up my Spotify. This is the worst band ever. Crap bin.
Early bin. All right, there we go.
That's a good idea for YouTube, actually.
Yeah, I do. That's why I put the YouTube links in. That way it doesn't fuck our Spotify algorithm up because we lean on that a bit too much. I'm prepared to fuck up my YouTube one, not so much my Spotify one. Yeah. Brendan, what about you? We watched you. We actually got the footage of you actually listening to this for the first time before. So I'm going to release that at some point. But how'd you go?
Well, I mean, that's Limp Bizkit, isn't it? What I like about it lyrically is that at least he's not getting around in a fucking backwards hat trying to pretend he's still a fucking hip 22-year-old, like it's firmly tongue. It ain't going to change the world, but it's done tongue in cheek. They know exactly what they're doing, and instead, if you saw it live, I think you'd get into it. So at the end of the day, it's not brilliant, but it's better than absurd. So there you go.
The last time I heard La Di Da mentioned in a song was from a band called Rabbit. And we all know how good they were.
Oh, wow. Oh. All right. We've got some comments coming through on this one. I'll get to those in a second. But quickly for me, I'm not a fan of the band. I think this is woeful. The lyrics are fucking piss poor to begin with. And about the only thing that was a cool highlight for me in this song is when Jean-Claude Van Damme had a fucking weird appearance in the video clip. That's about the best part of this thing for me. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's it.
Do you know what's hilarious about this whole review, right? Is that so obviously two of us liked it, two of us hated it, right?
Yeah.
But the two of us who liked it watched the reviews of the people who hated it and just went, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is what it is.
And still liked it.
Yeah, hey, and that's cool. Like, whatever floats your boat. This is not a fucking, elitism contest. It's just fucking whatever. And if it makes people happy, then so be it.
Limp Bizkit very often, are they? Like, no one's going to die on that mountain.
No.
Hey, you know what they are. Limp Bizkit is. They're like there's that one time like you get something from McDonald's and it's fucking awesome. Like it's shit.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I enjoy it.
They've done more than we've ever done, so well done to them. Like,
they put on some of those entertaining live
They've
gigs.
never won an antenna award.
No, they haven't. Well played.
But they did Inside a Riot, so
we could yet do that.
Yes, it's true.
It could happen.
The timing, it wouldn't be hard to do right now either, probably. But anyway, before we move on to one more track, I'll get back to some comments here. Cheyenne joined us on Facebook, so thank you for jumping in. And she's gone, Halloween was the first movie always. Truly believe Andrew regarding the haunted houses, so thank you. I'm not getting canned in the comments for that before, which is nice. Dean said, remember watching Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home? Scared the fuck out of me, especially when the volume was low in the cinema. Yeah, those are well done. And then we move on to Limp Bizkit. So Sally's gone, ooh, it's shite. Lee has gone, here, Dave, Limp Bizkit, an abomination. And sorry, Dean was correcting himself to say when the volume was high in the cinema. So yes, there we go. Cinema sound effects and the 5.1 system is a very nice way to do things if you've got the ability to do so. Mixing in 5.1, fucking pain in the ass. But anyway, that's something else for another time. All right, one more track, which is fitting for this time of year, of course. If you're tuning in on Saturday night on the show, then you will see this one. We're going to put it in the comments now. It's in the comments in the description. This is Ghost with Hunter's Moon. I think it's safe to say we're all fans of the band, but let's see how this one went. So, Brendan, I pipped you at the post. You wanted to play this one on the TV show. What do you like about it?
Oh, fucking everything. I just like Ghost. But the last two albums particularly have been two of my favorite albums in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
When they get it right, I think they're awfully cool. There's that, I don't know. I can't even put my finger on why it's cool half the time. Like, you listen to parts of it, and it sounds almost ABBA-esque in their chorus, and and people will poke fun of it and think, oh, it's like King Diamond Light. But it's there's just something about this band. The sound is so good. It's original. It's always mixed and balanced so beautifully. Yeah. The last couple of albums, and this one's no different. I think it's a cool tune. I'm looking forward to whatever's coming behind it. It's a good start. If that's the commercially viable track from it, I'm like, cool. What else do you got?
Yeah, it's not bad. Rumors, an album late this year. Rumors, but nothing confirmed yet. But that's the rumor. We'll see how we go. Tim, what about you?
Yeah, I'm curious because they released the two singles about a year ago as well, a couple of years as well. Nothing came of that, so we'll see. First of all, video clip is fucking stunning.
Yeah.
And just again, the way it's put together, the way it builds up towards the end is just fantastic, incredibly well directed.
Yeah.
The song is fantastic. Now, my first listen through the song, because of the way it's structured, it did take me a little bit to get into it, because it starts off, as Brendan said, there's that little ABBA-esque part at the start, again, builds up really nicely. But again, when you watch it alongside the video, really does make sense. And by the time you're onto your third or fourth listen, it's just a fantastic track. Every bit fits perfectly. It's well performed. His voice is stunning. It's well recorded. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it being King, as you said before, King Diamond Light, I don't think that's an insult. I think it's done in such a way that's commercially acceptable, but it's also very tongue-in-cheek in a little bit. But it's also, just the right cool enough, but it's also just that little bit dark enough. It's really done incredibly well. They draw that fine line incredibly well. They're just a fantastic band. So it's just Ghost being Ghost.
Cool. Dave?
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of this band. The last album was half good for me and half meh. But I'm surprised I left that review alive, if I remember rightly. But yeah, when they're good, and when they're not bad. They're just meh. But this is fucking good, and I'm pretty stoked that this is going to be in Halloween Kills coming up, which is, considering the preview of that movie, is looking fantastic. But yeah, this is what I like about Ghost. There's great atmosphere to the song. Structure's good, riffs are cool, song is fun. It's got a great atmosphere and fits Halloween season perfectly. So yeah, this song's pretty damn cool.
Nice. It is perfect for the season, and if you know Ghost, then you know what you're in for with this band and this song. I think it's another stunningly great track. I think the track record for these guys is getting better and better as time moves on. For me, they're getting much more refined at what they do and just nailing it. I love the hook. I love the video. I like the little way it builds up and how you got the appearance from Michael in it as well, just here and there under the bed, and then it builds in toward him at the end. And the unveiling of Papa, the new Papa in this video for this context is a nice little way of doing things as well. So, you know, the cinematic effect of this is awesome. But I also like the mid-song breakdown. Like that little change up in the middle of the song where it just changes tempo and groove is fucking awesome. Like it's like, ooh, okay, cool. You got the whole toe tapping thing at the start, which you just cannot help but be infected by. But then the rest of it just goes, okay, we're going to turn some screws now, and it gets into a good gear, which is nice. I'm a big fan of it. That's why, you know, Brendan and I were competing for this one on the TV broadcast side of things coming up soon. But yeah, a lot of love for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with the band next, regardless of whether this is, I think this is an exclusive single. It's not meant to be on an album or anything like that. But yeah, the rumor is there that an album is scheduled for very late 2021. So we'll see what happens. Well, it might be pushed back to 2022 if I suspect correctly, but we will see. Either way, I'm keen. We'll see how we go. All right, Sally here has gone. Every time I listen, I really try to hear the good, the metal. It's not there, no good for me. So there, I do understand. It's the same thing as, you know, when you say, you guys said before, like when people criticize Limp Bizkit, you guys all hear it and you go, okay, cool. I do get what some people say about Ghost and how it doesn't quite get them the right way, but for me, it just hooks me. Darren says Ghost definitely have a certain sound. The guitar tone during solos is very identifiable, and that's, yeah, they do have their own sound. And what Brendan said about their mixing, fucking A1. Like they just know how to get great tones and a fucking well done mix. Me being the audiophile, fucking love their sound. So there we go. All right. Now onto something that's a bit more serious. We're off the music side of things and onto the more news side of things for a couple of pieces here. In the comments, I'm going to put a link to a video if you choose to watch it. It's up to you. You don't have to. This is Richie Faulkner playing on stage while his aorta was rupturing, which is fucking nuts. And if you've seen or read the statement, fuck me, did Richie Faulkner dodge one hell of a bullet. But yeah, Dave, you shared the video I'm putting in now. What did you make of this when you saw it all come through? This whole thing's fucking intense.
Yeah. When I think Nick and Tim posted to the chat that Richie Faulkner almost died on stage, I'm like, what the fuck? So I clicked on the link and read his personal statement of what happened and where he is now. And it's just, Jesus Christ, he's a lucky guy to still be with us to do that. And he's obviously taken the moment to appreciate just what he's been through, and 10 hours of open heart surgery, and I can't believe he finished the damn song. And so I knew we were going to do it tonight, so I jumped on YouTube. There was bound to be some footage and found that video. And knowing what's happening, and you're just watching him, just like, okay, at this point he's on one knee and he's still shredding, but he don't look right. And you can see when they put the big screen up there, you see the look on his face. He just, if I didn't know something wasn't going on, I probably would have thought, okay, he might be having a shit night or something. But knowing what's happening at the moment, it's just, Jesus Christ, dude. I wouldn't have thought any less of him if he just stopped and walked off stage and said, look, I'm not feeling good. I need help. But he finished the damn song, and yeah, he's pretty damn lucky to have gotten through that. And lucky, I think the hospital he went to was like 5 kilometers away, so it was right place, right time. And certainly Dio was smiling down on him and kept him in this universe for a while longer. But yeah, it certainly makes you think. Like, he's doesn't even have high cholesterol, he says in his statement. He's been in pretty good health, so just one day can just strike you. It's pretty scary. But glad he made it through. It's pretty confronting to read and watch. Yeah.
Well, Tim, you were the ones that dug it up. So, what did you make of it all?
Yeah. I saw probably a week ago when Priest cancelled the US tour. There wasn't many details. It was just Richie's had some heart problems. So I was like, okay.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm not really. I didn't. Not much was really made of it. Because there were a lot of. Yeah, and there were a lot of tour cancellations.
Yeah.
There's been for North America lately, and especially for. But then when Richie made his statement, it's just like this man should be dead, frankly, and it's an absolute miracle he's still alive. So I think we've all seen Richie play with Priest live. And,
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guitar player and an absolute miracle. So lucky to be alive.
Yeah. Brendan, what about you?
Didn't see it, didn't really follow it up, but just in a nutshell, the last few years have taken enough fucking rock legends away from us. So let's just be thankful this one dodged a bullet, and let's just be hopeful a few more do as well, because they're all getting older, unfortunately, because no one's taking their fucking place.
Yeah. Not going to harp on too much. It's all been said before, and it's in the comments too. Just fucking wow. So lucky to get out of this one, and for what it's worth, from all of us to anyone of his crew or family or him that sees this at any time ever, best wishes and all the best going forward. Hopefully, you make a full and complete recovery, and you go much more into the future than this could have been on this night. The amazing thing is, you watch him play and he doesn't miss a beat, and you sit there and go, "What the fuck?" When you know what's going on, and he pulled it off, it's like that. I can't even imagine how that felt in his body. Like, to feel that and to still do that, the fuck, that's next level. Just one, professionalism, but two, just not even letting on. You only know about it if you're watching the video. You only really think about it if you know what's happened. If you're watching it, you just think he's doing a pretty good solo. You don't really know unless you're looking for it, if that makes sense. Wow. Like the whole thing, the whole circumstance. Just, if there was ever a place and a time for a musician to have this happen, he found the right one. Anywhere else in the world, he was probably gone. So, and apparently someone said 1 in 5 don't even make this one at all, ever. So, sorry, 1 in 5 survive. The rest don't. So the odds were well and truly against him. It's like a 20% chance of making it, and he made it. It's like fucking nuts. So, I'm grateful. I'm hopeful that when everyone's fit, healthy, happy, and well, that we'll get another kick-ass album like we got with Firepower, because he was a big part of that as well. But yeah, fucking hell, like I was saying before, the most important thing is to get the health right. So best wishes to him and those that care about him. And take all the time you need to get yourself right before you do anything again, basically. So it's crazy, fucking absolutely nuts. We did get some comments on this one, so we'll go to those ones now. Dean said this was fucking insane. Darren said he did not miss a beat during the solo, didn't show any sign of trouble, but you can see he walks straight off the stage after the song, and, well, for obvious reasons. Dean also said someone was watching, looking after him that night. No medical history with his family or heart problems, just never know. And that's the scary part, too. When you read his statement, he's in good nick, and it's just like he has no family history, he has no health issues, everything. It just came out of the blue. And it's just, fuck, that's terrifying. Dean said 10.5 hours in open heart surgery. Fuck me. And he said, 1 in 5 survive it. Dean says, has he had a history with drugs and alcohol at all? I don't get the impression he's one of the rough party ones.
No, I think because he's. We think of Richie as Richie Faulkner as the new guy in Priest, but he's been in the band for 20 years now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he's joined long after those days.
Yeah. So I don't recall hearing anything about him in that context, like we've heard with so many other people before. So might be wrong, but I don't know. But yeah, while we're talking about sad things, let's move on to one final piece of business before we get into the hot topic quickly. And that is just that it's literally just gone 1 year since the passing of Eddie Van Halen. It would be rather remiss if we didn't acknowledge that as we do this one today. We've got a Van Halen special. It is in the editing room, and it is going to be released soon. Just waiting a few bits and pieces from external submissions to come into that one to make it a bit more complete. But yeah, just basically here we are a year on, and how does it feel to be here? Dave, let's go to you first. You did do the special, so how does it feel? Yeah. You've done 2 Van Halen specials, and now it's a year on. How does this it feels fast, but yeah.
It does not feel like a year. It's crazy. But last couple of days, people have been posting pictures of Eddie on their pages, on their banners. But I think I woke up this morning, got ready for work, I'm sitting there eating my breakfast, and Wolfgang Van Halen had posted on his page just a little message that it's a year on and he's still not okay. He's hurting, he's missing his dad. And it was just one of those things that Dad was pretty honest. And a lot of people lost a musical hero, but he lost his dad. Yeah. And But been a year on, and I can't believe it's been a year. But it just shows how big a influence he was to so many musicians, and Van Halen transcended just music because everyone that liked 80s pop culture liked or knew about Van Halen. It's just one of those people that certainly left their mark on the world and not going to be forgotten anytime soon. Well, not going to be forgotten at all, but 1 year on and people are still feeling this thing.
How about you, Tim? What are your thoughts as we go through this sort of anniversary?
It's been weird for the past couple of years because we've not really had because we've all been locked down and we've all been we've not really had any like milestones, or we've not really done anything to sort of have markers in time. So we look back and we think, this happened. For the most part, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
And that was one of the few things that happened, unfortunately. And I mean, because of that, again, it doesn't really feel like a year. It feels like it's just been yesterday. And then you think back and get into the time, Wolfgang's released an album and all that. And again, it doesn't feel like all that long. And Eddie was a giant of the music industry, and you couldn't escape being around popular culture without falling under Eddie's sphere of influence in some way, shape, or form. So, it was certainly a shock to the system back then because nobody really knew how sick he was either, as well. And to find out it's been a year on, it's triggered a lot of reflection for a lot of people, I think, as well. So, hope everyone's doing all right.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Brendan, what about you?
Well, he's obviously one of the all-time greats that's been sort of largely ignored, unfortunately, in the American fucking awards circuit, which that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that was fucked up. That was really fucked up.
Yeah, like the VMAs didn't mention him at all, and
I think the Grammys too.
I think Grammys didn't mention him. Just like fuck me, Eddie Van Halen, you fucking dipshits.
Yeah.
Look, you got to wonder, if this life, if you're remembered fucking 2 generations on, I think you've done something pretty special because most of us are well and truly forgotten by that point. So. When you look at the classic albums of, the Beatles and stuff, they're now like, coming up over 50 years old. And, you imagine, in another couple of generations, they'll probably still be spoken about. I certainly hope so. And I imagine the same with Eddie. Like, I think he'll be one of the few that's still spoken about long after we're gone. I certainly fucking hope so.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, I'd imagine so as well. But, particularly with the way music's going, it's only getting worse. So... You imagine that it's going to be around for a long time, but look, he made his mark. I don't think anyone that's ever watched an episode of this show doesn't have some fucking Van Halen reference. Yeah, I've got an amp.
Yep.
Yeah. Look.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I haven't got a lot to add. It's been said here tonight. The legacy that you can leave behind, if you wanted to try and aim for one, that'd be it. He's left behind not only a massive mark as a musician, but by all reports, a loving man and father as well. Like, to be loved by your current wife and your ex-wife, to have them all there when you go, kind of thing is I don't know anyone else in the world I've even heard of that's had that much thought about them that can be a thing. Like you think of any other divorced couple, it's like, what the fuck? Like that would never happen. And that's a bit a weird one, but I find that to be just as important a mark on things as his musical legacy. I think the music will be talked about for generations to come, as it should be. But I think just the mark he's left on Wolf and, you know, the rest of those that knew him and worked with him or played with him or whatever else, yeah, no one has anything bad to say about the dude. Not a single bad word about this guy. So I know that certain bandmates have had certain tensions, but they were able to clear those things up before the end, which is another rare thing too. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels weird. Like Tim said before, the whole year passing thing, we haven't got many bookmarks in time over the last 24 months, and that's one of them. And it does, like you said, make things... I think we're all here sitting here in lockdown again. We're all feeling it more this time around than the last times. I think we were all, you know, on the record of saying that. So when you hit these little markers, it's like, fuck me. And we're still in the situation we're into, which makes it all sort of hit home a bit harder. But, yeah, like, fuck, just well done on a life well lived from all reports as far as I'm concerned. And if not for the music legacy alone, that should be something to celebrate. Living a good life is something more important, I think. And, yeah, bottoms up to the man. Like, that was well done. So can't beat it. But what was cool last night, sorry, before I do move on, I was listening to random stuff on Spotify after doing some work last night before I went to sleep. And Distance, the song on Wolfgang's album, came on. And that's still just as emotional now, listening to it and thinking of the video, the end of the video where Eddie's talking to Wolf and just telling him how much he loves him. And that's, even now, it's just fucking one of those things. You hear it and go, fucking hell, that's just tear-jerking shit. So, you know, well done on all fronts. Yeah, but thoughts and best wishes to those, because anniversaries are tough when you lose a family member. So, for those that are living with that right now, the anniversary of it, and anyone else affected at this point in time, then yeah, thoughts, and hopefully you're all getting through it as best as you possibly can. Comments here, just quickly going back to the Richie stuff for a second. Knowing something is wrong inside and still playing note perfectly is absolutely amazing. It's so scary. Hope for a speedy recovery for Richie there, so that's cool. But then also on Eddie, hard to believe it's been a year. I remember it was the same day Shot in the Dark by AC/DC was released as a single. There is a huge hole, even more growing in this world, and that's the unfortunate thing that Brendan said before. Everyone's getting older. He really inspired a generation of future guitarists, and now since he has left, he has grown more and more. Now young kids are picking up the guitar and going after his rig to pay homage to him, which is a nice touch there too. Sally said his legacy is legendary, but the man was beautiful, heart of gold, which is cool. And then also Dean says, love what Wolf is doing and love his work and pushing something out during the passing, and takes a lot of courage to continue on music, especially when his dad was one of the gods of guitar, respect to Wolf. So there we go. Some nice words coming through there. And the album, if you haven't checked it out, Mammoth WVH, is a fucking cracker. Get onto it now. All right. Let's get on to the hot topic before Brendan gets out of here. Let's do this. In the comments and in the post, you'll see a link to an ABC article, which is actually cool. It's got some ABC coverage. But the Uncaged Festival lineup was announced last night. Got the media release on embargo until 7 p.m. and I put a post up about it last night. I'll get to that post in a little bit. But first of all, let's talk about our impressions of this and the lineup and our thoughts on the whole thing. It's a big fucking thing, so let's go through it. Tim, what about you? What do you think of this one first?
Awesome. We've been asking for a festival exactly like this for years now, which is, you know, Australian bands of the past 20 years, 30 years in some cases, you know, with you know, Hard-Ons and Super Jesus and all that, and right up with you know, bands like, you know, Molly and the Crows and These Four Walls, right up to, you know, your more contemporary bands. And this is what we've been asking for 20 years. And I mean, and I know it's not going to tickle everyone's fancy. That's all right. You don't have to buy a ticket, and you're not entitled. You're not entitled to have a festival catered specifically towards your tastes. So, you know, up after that, who cares? I mean, if you like it, go. That's what we've. This is what we've all wanted. You know, because ordinarily when you get an Australian festival, it's Shannon Knoll and Jimmy Barnes featuring Magic Dirt. So, this is a good one.
Brendan, you're nodding your head. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, never has a festival lineup been released that didn't cop some shit, So, this was always going to cop shit, and to people giving it shit, you're dickheads. If you don't like it, don't go. This is kind of. It's not only. I was going to say it's almost the perfect sort of post-lockdown lineup, but it's not even that.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it should have. This kind of thing should have been done a long time ago. They're not going for bloody Flemington Racecourse. They're doing it at what it is, Caribbean Roller Armour or some shit. It's at a reasonable sized venue that can cater towards these bands. It's got some draws on there that people that don't know this other music will get them there. It's got the fucking younger up and coming bands that people may discover, and they get a chance to play on a bigger stage, with bigger sound and all this kind of stuff. Like you said, if you don't like it, don't go. Pretty simple. But if you've got any passion for this scene, this is the kind of thing we should be supporting. This is a lineup done right. There's some draws on there, and there's some opportunities for young bands. And that's how it should be done.
Yep. Tim's got
we've been complaining about the lack of rungs going up, climbing the ladder. This is one of the missing rungs.
Yes.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about this the other day, Tim. You and I were having a big conversation about this the other day.
Yeah, so I certainly hope this is successful.
Yes. And if there's any spots to fill Silverback Touring, give us a buzz. I'll play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for both of you. All right, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, it's win-win. As everyone said, it's something people have been asking for a long time. As soon as I saw the lineup, a couple of bands jumped out at me directly. I mean, Lagerstein and Dead City Ruins. I'd go just for them. But there's a lot of bands. Some bands I've never heard of. A lot of bands I have heard of but haven't seen. A few older bands. So it's an all-round. It caters for everyone. It's a very diverse lineup. Whenever your tastes are, go and see the bands that you know and that you like, and you might find something else that you like. It's not hard, and you're paying festival prices. You go and see all these bands as individual, you'll be paying a lot more. So go see the bands you like. Stick around and find some other bands. It's not hard. So yeah, it's win-win.
Yep.
You don't have to watch Wolfmother.
Yeah, go grab a drink. Go get something to eat.
Wolfmother are good live though. You should watch Wolfmother. Watch it.
That's true. I actually did see Wolfmother on their first album tour, which was actually really good.
Okay.
You never know.
Yeah.
They played the Corner here a couple of years ago. It's a really short notice. It was done like 3 or 4 days notice. They played the Corner for $25. And we thought, fuck, for $25, I can walk there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was great. Okay. Rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is with these bigger bands is quite often, as much as we like to rip on them, they're bigger for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I don't get the hate. I really don't get it. I'll get to my thoughts on the actual interaction on the post we had last night in a moment. But the lineup itself is a pretty fucking good lineup. I mean, you've got everything on this one covered. And I mean, you've got the draws you want. So, Wolfmother, but Super Jesus as well. You got some really good ones there. Yeah, and then you go from that to 12 Foot Ninja, Omnific, Lagerstein. But it's good to see bands like Last Night. Desi Ruins, El Colosso. El Colosso are fucking great too. So, there are some fucking kick-ass bands on this lineup, and that's not even close to all of it. Check out the link for more information. I think credit to Danny and the crew at Silverback for putting this together. It's a lot of work. And if you've ever tried to put anything even close to this together, even close, and I'm not saying our extravaganzas went anywhere near this one, but that was a lot of work just doing our extravaganzas. This is fucking nuts. And they've got it to work in a post-pandemic world. And it's all Aussie. And this is what we've been complaining about, bitching about, in my experience, for a decade plus. We've been complaining about this sort of shit not happening. Here we are. If you don't like it, don't buy a ticket. Don't go. The market will work it out. If it doesn't sell, it won't happen again. But I think that on the flip side of things, if you care about the music in this country, this is something you should buy a ticket for. We need things like this to be successful. We need things like this to blow the other ones out of the water so that we can show things like Triple M and stuff that we keep bitching about, that there is a home for this sort of stuff in our own country. So I think put the, your personal taste aside. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Wolfmother, but I'll go to this fucking festival if I can find a way to get there. Like, that's not the draw for me. The rest of the whole experience, being there for the first time this happens and hopefully making it go a second, third, fifth, 10th time later on, to be for the first one for this, that's something pretty fucking special. We've been all complaining and calling for this for a long time. It's here and people are complaining, which I find fucking bizarre. We all know that lineups and festivals never get everyone's attention. And like, has been said, you're not entitled to have a festival built just for you. And that's not even considering the logistics involved in getting everyone to sign the dotted line in the current climate. So I think a massive tip of the hat to Danny and the crew at Silverback. It's a huge amount of work to do this stuff. So credit where due. On to the post, right? Now, there are certain individuals, I'm not going to name names and all that sort of shit, but there are certain individuals that seem to take great joy in just fucking up with other people online. And honestly, fuck off. Like, I appreciate passion and fervor and all those things, but Jesus Christ, we don't need to be nasty to each other, especially at the moment. That's the last thing we fucking need to be doing. We're all uptight. We're all pent up. We're all feeling like rats in a cage. And it's not a lot of fun for anyone right now. And all you're doing is adding negativity. And it doesn't matter if you're for or against anything at this point in time. It really doesn't matter. We all see enough of this shit going on. I think that for me personally, I'd like to see our page be a thing that's fun and engaging with people. And that's why we try to keep things relatively lighthearted on our broadcasts, our streams, our TV stuff. We've made a conscious shift to make it more fun. And I think that's important. And just, if you don't like it, scroll on. It's not that hard. There's plenty of other shit to bitch about. I just don't see the point of bitching about music when it's so subjective anyway. If you don't like it, just move on. It's okay. You don't have to like everything. I'm not saying you have to like it. Just move on. So much energy on such a fucking nothing. It just has no impact. But anyway. But you guys, any thoughts on that particular aspect? Anyone want to jump in there?
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Pretty well.
Yeah. Dave, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that type of shit's unnecessary. It takes more energy to type a message than it does to just scroll on. If you don't like what somebody posted, move on. You don't need that type of negativity and abusive behavior. It's stupid.
Yep. It's pretty straightforward for mine. Yeah. Anyone else, or are we going to move on from that one?
I think I'm pretty much on the record.
Yeah.
Wrote a song about it. Now listen to that. In fact,
yes, Screaming into the Void. It's a cracker on the Eat the Damn Orange Taking the Pith record. There's a plug. Go and check it out. We have two members of the band here on the show. Go and give it a listen because it's actually doing pretty well for polling so far this year too, guys. Just so you got a little sneaky heads up there. So some of the polling we've done this year, it's showing up. So
which is terrible.
A bit of a smoke. Actually, in all seriousness, it's a fucking good album. All the bullshit aside, it's a fucking great one. So check it out. The boys need some love anyway. So
look, as much as the instinct is to be self-deprecating, we're all very proud of it. So,
oh, good. You should be.
Yeah. But as much as we want your love, we also want your money. So fucking buy it.
This is true. I mean, we would like to quit our jobs someday.
Oh, fuck. This is good.
Even though that's going to be impossible.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. We'll leave it on a light note there. So I'll get to the comments here for a second. What do we got here? So Nude says, can't believe people are bitching about it. It's a live gig. It's what we need. Spewing us on an Adelaide. So yeah, think about the people that are missing out on this one too. It's only going to the East Coast. Plenty are going to miss out on this. So, and with border restrictions being what they are, they may not be able to get over here to see it. So, make of that what you will. A bit of perspective, people, please. Dean says, festivals in general need to come back, especially for rock and metal and for the young and up-and-coming bands who are trying to move up or no one needs. I don't mind this lineup. It's the first one for Uncaged. And hey, fuck it. If you're going to go for it, I reckon go for it. Like, gee, it's a good thing. And like you were saying, Tim, that mid-tier stuff, we were talking about it the other day, it's needed. This is important. Darren said, Coburg Velodrome, Victoria. Take your BMX bike with you on the day. Now, that would be fun, actually. Imagine having some BMX stuff or skate stuff going on in the background. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah. All right. Yep. Cool. I'm not. I'll hurt myself, but it'll be fun to watch. Nicole's jumped in on YouTube to say, hey, also, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Nudes, again, one of the first times Tim Rogers will be singing for Hard On's Worth a Look will be tops, and their album comes out tomorrow, by the way. Yeah. So, Nudes has been keen to get this one reviewed, so I think we'll be chatting about that on Monday, probably. Dean says, saw Wolfmother open up for AC/DC on the Black Ice Tour. Thought they were great. He also says, hope festivals return bigger and better and get the heights of Soundwave, Big Day Out, etc. Let's get behind it. Either embrace a rock metal festival and support it, or lose another festival for younger bands and greats to play for a new audience. And that is exactly the point here. TJ says, thanks for joining us too, by the way. TJ says, yep, in the words of Eddie Murphy, have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. So there we go when it comes to online bitching. And Sally's given us the old orange with a laugh out loud. So there we go. But I think this is where we say goodbye to Brendan, isn't it?
Yes, I'm leaving you.
You're leaving us? Did you want to put anything in the bin before you go, or are you?
Yeah, New South Wales as a whole. They're corrupt.
New South Wales?
They're corrupt politicians for their early access to vaccines and for the sake that they'll be at the pub before me. Get fucked.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it hurts, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
It does.
Yep. It's no fun being in a race where the head start. It's like, you know, the father-son sack race thing with Burns. Yeah. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, but our outbreak was caused by them. So it's like they've done that, but then they've also like kneecapped the neighbor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. True. Very true. All right. So I think that's it for you, isn't it, Brendan?
Yep, that's it. On that note.
All right. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you.
Peace. Be good, lads. And everyone else.
We'll see you soon.
Have a good one, man.
Take it easy, mate. All right. That's that order of business done. Let's get on the first review because this is the only one that Dave's done before Dave bails on us tonight, and then Tim and I will bring it home. So our first review is a little band called the Velvet Starlings. So in the comments and in the description, Velvet Starlings, She Said is your reference track to check out on this one. So Velvet Starlings, She Said. That's the one we're going for. So here's our first review of the night. Velvet Starlings, Technicolor Shakedown. 10 tracks, 31 minutes. The debut album from the American band released September 2021 via Golden Robot Records. Written and produced by Christian and Roger Gisborne. 3 singles have been released, including She Said, and the title track. This is fundamentally a solo project from Christian in the recording process. It went on to flesh out the band and comes after 2 previous little mini albums or EPs as well. Tim, you're going to be here, so let's go to you first on this one.
I quite like this. I mean, when I first heard it, I kind of got a I thought it sounded a little bit like a Fratelli's.
Okay.
On my first, initial run through, the more I got to listen to it, is much more jangly than that, with that kind of recording style that you would hear from like a Jefferson Airplane, very a throwback kind of sound, but with that kind of jangly mid-2000s indie rock kind of songwriting that's kind of mimicking John Lennon's Beatles kind of songwriting.
Yep.
These kids grew up listening to Britpop, I'm guessing.
Or something like that,
yeah. Now,
which is again
don't let that turn you off, because I mean, like I said, I did also reference Jefferson Airplane, who are, and it's sort of in that vein as well. So, while it is on the poppier side and is much more, jangly, there's not as much riffy stuff. There are some cool songs here, if you don't mind some melody. I thought the use of the keys were great as well. I thought the album was really well laid out. Ebbs and flows really nicely. I think if you strip these songs back, because there is a lot of throwback, recording stuff here, but I think if you strip the songs back and you take the filter off and all that, they're just good songs to begin with. So I kind of like that. I quite enjoyed it. She Said, and Can't Control were my highlights. And 8 out of 10.
Nice. All right, cool. It's a bit of a different one, but that's what the Deep Cuts formats is for. So, Dave, how'd you go?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to make of this when I first put it on. It's so far away from what I would usually listen to. But something about it sounded familiar. So as it went on, I'm just like, hang on, Julia would probably like this. She loves all that 60s, 70s stuff. I love 80s, 70s. We meet in the 70s and we both consider the 90s to be a fucking joke. So if you're familiar with the 60s psychedelic garage bands like 13th Floor Elevators, Kaleidoscope, The Sonics, and MC5, then you're probably going to enjoy this because it's very much a throwback to that era, and it's cool because you don't hear bands doing stuff like that at all. I know fucking jack shit about Britpop, so I can't compare it to that, as Tim said. So I was quite interested to hear what you said.
Well, Britpop was just a recreation of all that stuff anyway.
Yeah, a bad one, I think. Anyway, this is a good one. From what I've heard of those bands I listed, the Velvet Starlings have just captured that sound perfectly. They're obviously using the same type of equipment. I'd be curious to know if this was recorded on tape, because it really does sound like that era. If I didn't know any better, I would think it was straight from the 60s. I know
pretty sure it's a lounge room job, so I don't think a tape machine was part of the equation there.
I know there's all types of plugins and shit that can make people sound like whatever they want, but this sounds authentic. So if that's the case, they've done a damn good job. So it was a solo project, was it?
Virtually, yeah. So, sorry, I forget the name off the top of my head. Christian, I think he's done this with his dad, basically in his lounge room at home, because they're like barely in their 20s. I think these guys, they're really young, and so he's been doing it since he was 15, and then he fleshed out the band after this was released.
Okay, that's interesting. But it sounds like it's just been recorded all in one room. It's just the band just played and they just went for it. Yeah, but really like the drum sound on this. It's something you don't really hear. It's like back in the days when they'd shove John Bonham in the hallway because it had the best acoustics and mic him up like that. So you can tell that they've actually taken some time. Check
out Machine Head production. The production on Machine Head is fucking nuts. But anyway.
Yeah, and the guitar tone. It's when you get into this type, you can get into that slightly overdriven twang, which I fucking hate. But this tone has some balls to it, and that's very cool. The riffs are infectious. There's a lot of energy to the songs. And overall, it's a fun listen. The drumming style also reminds me of Keith Moon from The Who, which fits here perfectly.
Yeah, I'd say that too.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
This isn't my go-to style of rock, but I enjoyed listening to this. I can listen to this over and over. Be interesting to see what this band does in the future. It's certainly something different. It's a unique listen, and band to keep an eye on. I'd be interested to see where they got their influences from too. I have to do some checking into what band they brought.
It's hard to get. We got the the word from Golden Robot and stuff, but it's hard to get a lot of really detailed info. So yeah, I'm curious to see. I hope these guys get big so I can all learn more about them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're fascinating if nothing else, but their music's cool too. I gave it 8.5 out of 5. Checkmate, there's nobody there, colors on the canvas, and turn it on, that little instrumental at the end. There on my stand up.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, like I was saying, this looks like pretty much a father-son recording project from what I see from the outside looking in a lounge room, kind of an idea. So when you take that into account and you listen to this thing, it does not sound like that. This sounds like what you've said is that it sounds like a live band in a room. It's got a really cool live vibe to it. You can imagine this stuff if you're at it's one of those live gigs, if you were there, that anyone and everyone could get into. If you're a raging metalhead or if you want your 60s softer stuff, anyone and everyone can find something here to listen to and enjoy. It's incredibly well executed, well written. It's simplistic stuff and not a lot of complicated stuff to it, but that's worked for so many bands from the Beatles through to Nirvana for decades, and they've just tapped into that simplicity and made it really work. They got the hooks, the rhythm and the groove on this stuff is really important to what they're doing, and that's what breaks up the listen overall as well. Because you don't get huge changes, so you get a few, but nothing massive. But those tempo changes really keep this thing moving along, and the fact that it's only like a half-hour long listen also helps in that regard as well. Production is really good for the style. Like, I'm not a huge fan of, because it's pretty hot at times. There's a bit of the really crunched kind of a sound, but that's the whole live vibe they were going for. When you throw back to the 60s and that, when you think about the live tapes that would happen from, as a reference point, the Beatles, you watch the live tapes and that from back then, sounds like it's coming straight out of that era. So it's really well done. It's got, fuzz and crunch from the 60s. But yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. I like how simplistic this was, but how infectious it was at the same time. Production's just the right kind of nasty. Like Tim mentioned, the use of the organ or the keys was nice on this one too. It was a nice little flavor added into it. It's very bright, shimmery sort of stuff, very upbeat, but there's a bit of intelligence to this one as well. It's a lot of fun, but there's a bit more substance to it than just that as well. Look, basically, long story short, following on from you guys, so if you like anything from the 60s to the 70s, maybe influenced by the 50s and that going through, but anything if you like even the Nirvana stuff, I know some of us like to rip on Nirvana here, but at the same time, the simplicity of what they wrote and how well they did it was important. Like, a track like Polly, for example, wouldn't be out of place on this record in the context. So if you produced Polly the way this is produced to fit, it wouldn't be out of place on the record, kind of thing. Or, sorry, maybe what's the other one? I don't know, About a Girl or something. I don't know, but yeah, there's a few there. But anyway, you get the idea of what I'm talking about. It's one of those ones where it's an intriguing listen. If you like your 60s rock, give this one a go. But even if you like a bit more modern than that, it's still worth checking out. I got things like the Hives and that kind of thing came to mind for me a little bit on this one too, that sort of sound and vibe. So that throwback element is really strong, but it's, really well done. Not an all-time go-to thing for mine, but it's nice, well done. That kind of slightly messy rock that's pretty cool, but, infectious as fuck. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's got that summery vibe to it. It's also a really good time of year to start listening to this album too, coming into spring for us here. It's a really nice time of year to listen to it. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Checkmate, Technicolor Shakedown, and There's Nobody There. But the last closing instrumental track was a nice touch on this one as well. So it is deep cuts. We go a bit different, but it was very, very nice to listen to this one. So I did enjoy it thoroughly. Before you go, Dave, just the comments here. Dan said, didn't mind this at all. Good listen, which is nice. And Sally also said, yep, I'm into it. Not bad at all, which is nice. And then Dean also said, got a bit of Albert's production era parts in it. I felt maybe it was just me. Heard that 60s production as well through the Beatles thing there. And I love the live takes on the floor, real energy of a band. So, yeah, that's what it feels like. If you like the live bootleg kind of stuff, but, actually produced properly, that's what this kind of feels like as well. So before we say goodbye, Dave, is there anything you want to put in the bin before you go?
Yeah, I got something.
All right, what do you got?
Censorship, or the feeling that people need to do it these days. I know we sometimes have to walk on eggshells, but I recently read an article with an interview with Sebastian Bach, who is touring the Slave to the Grind album, the 30th anniversary. He'll be doing the whole album in full, but only doing part of Get the Fuck Out. Yeah. Because I had to go Google the lyrics, even though I've listened to the song for 30 years, trying to find what could possibly be offensive. I couldn't find it, and Nick on the chat said maybe this part. One, if you're going to see Sebastian Bach perform Slave to the Grind in its entirety, you've probably owned the album at some point in the past 30 years. So if you're not offended by listening to the album, you're not going to be offended by going to see it live. It's just a reflection of how fucking stupid things are getting, that people feel the need to self-censorship themselves because, for no particular reason in this case, it's ridiculous. But yeah. And I'm also putting Blue Tack in the bin. Remember in the 80s when it actually stuck?
Yeah.
It doesn't stick anymore. Posters are melting off my big balls. I don't know if they changed the formula or something, but it's shit.
Nice. Cool. What were you trying to stick on the wall?
Oh, just Harry Potter posters. We changed Jade's room around a little bit, made it a bit more 10-year-old. But it started melting. Shit's falling.
All right, cool. Before you go, Sally agrees with you. Blue Tack sucks now, so there we go. That's one for you there. Sally agrees. And Dean says, get ready for Slash featuring Miles Kennedy single, Dave. So there's more of that coming to us all very, very soon. But I think that's where we leave you, isn't it, mate?
Yep. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see everyone else next time. Everyone stay safe, stay happy, drink lots of beer, listen to music.
That'll do. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
Cool. How the fuck do I get
out?
I love we got that bit at the end there. How the fuck do I get out of here? We got that one. All right. All right, on to the next one. It's just Tim and I now to close things out tonight. So here we go. Oh, before we move on, TJ says censorship Instagram blocks suicidal tendencies account because of the name. What the fuck? That's a thing?
Instagram is notorious for getting rid of accounts.
Yeah.
I have not seen that one, though.
That's, news to me. Wow. Okay. That might be a conversation to be had on the show at some point. That's weird. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. That's a new one. Yeah, we're all asking the same question.
I know a guy who got zucked on Facebook, and he was selling like a horse saddle, but like the angle that he took the photo off, it looked very not like a horse saddle.
Okay.
So like the algorithm's just seeing like a general shape and going, no.
Yeah. The pommel was prominent, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it was like from like behind, so it was like too like cheeky kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay then. That's odd. TJ's just gone in. Yeah, they just got it unblocked this week. That's Facebook and Instagram is a weird thing these days. I know it's where most of our market share is in terms of the streaming world. It's weird.
It's all just a random algorithm that just searches through, and they see suicidal tendencies and they go, "Well, there's a problem."
Yeah.
But there's no actual human checking it. You got to complain about it first to get the human to look it up and then go, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Yeah. Odd. Yeah, that's what they get when they're trying to make more money than do anything productive. But hey, what do you do? So yeah, Facebook in the bin for making their employees go back from working from home this week too, by the way. Fuck you guys. Just on the sidebar there. All right, next review. Going to change gears like we do every single week. This is now going to some metal territory with a little band out of India called Kryptos. So the band is Kryptos, Kryptos, and the song is Hot Wired, which is their latest single. So Kryptos Hot Wired is your reference track. It is in the comments and in the description of this episode as well. Sorry, before we do move on, Nicole's gone, lots of words are now blocked, such as death, suicide, rape, and murder, to name a few. I've noticed that uploaded need to rephrase stuff. Stupid. Yeah, it's getting a bit silly when that is going on.
Yeah, well, the thing is that people were complaining about it, especially during the Trump era of the internet, where we were all just fighting each other, and people were complaining, well, this is too divisive. So then people went, okay, well, then let's ban let's change the algorithm so that, I think I got flagged for calling someone a cunt, which I just think is anti-Australian.
Yeah, well, that's it.
These Americans, but yeah, so you're never going to make everyone happy, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is true. Odd stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, Dean's gone. What's going on with social media these days? Yeah, there's a reason why I don't post as much as I used to on Facebook, and that it's a lot of really hard work to make it sort of happen these days. Rather just go on the streams and chat with people and then try and make a post that goes viral, if that makes sense. It's just a lot of work now. But anyway, let's get on to the review. This is Kryptos. So as I said before, the reference track is there. Kryptos Hot Wired. That's your reference track. Go and check it out. We're going to do another review now. So this is Kryptos, Force of Danger, 8 tracks for 36 minutes, another short one. 6th studio from the Indian band, released October 2021 via AFM Records. Produced by Varun Taneja. 3 singles have been released, including Raging Steel and the title track. Not a heap of info on this band either, but I believe this is the first album with the current drummer. And it's not often we get to do stuff from India, so I figured, fuck it, let's give it a go. So, Tim, what did you think?
I feel sorry for both Dave and Brendan that they did not listen to this.
I know, right? This is
because they would have both loved it, and it's fucking awesome. This is so fucking. Everybody, okay, if you were with us on the stream the other night, anybody who was disappointed by the KK Downey album, or any reviewer who said the KK Downey album was like a missing Judas Priest album, put this album on because this blows that to shit.
It does. I'll agree.
Oh
with
my
that.
God. And so musically, it is very much an old school thrash album, but it's played very there are parts in here that I like. The way it transitions is very fresh and very original, which is great. But the key is the drummer.
Yeah,
because he plays this really old school style of metal drumming, where he's just for the most, apart from I think one song, he's either just 4 on the floor or he's playing 4 on the snare, right? Yep. Which gives it this almost like new wave of British heavy metal feel in the context of a thrash metal band, which in 2021 sounds so original and so fresh. It is just a breath of fresh air, and it's fantastic to listen to. The performances are fantastic. All right, guitar solos are great, vocals are great. It's well mixed. It sounds like a heavy metal album should sound in 2021. Clear. You can hear everything nicely. Everything's well recorded, but there is still that little bit of dirt and a little bit of crunch that we all like. it's really hard to fault. This is fantastically well done.
Nice. Cool.
Like this, if you like heavy metal, you should be listening to this album. Yeah, Raging Steel and Dawnbreakers is my highlight. 9 out of 10.
Wow. Cool. All right. That's high praise. Dawnbreakers was on a standout for me too. So that'll be one there at the end for me. As a bit of a spoiler alert, this is pretty cool. Like, if you like metal at all, go and check it out. Like you were saying, yeah, KK's Priest, for a lot of our audience that weren't as grabbed by it, as same as us in our review, this is, blows out of the water by a long way. For me, it's interesting you mentioned the production, because I thought it was really fucking rooted in the 80s. Like, the reverb applied to the guitar solos was straight out of the era. And then you got the mids sort of scooped away to make this one really bottom and top heavy. And, the vocals sort of snarl their way through the middle bracket there. It's all very well done, very clean, very crisp, very clear. It was just that the EQ that was applied to this was really vintage and is a big throwback. If you like your vintage 80s thrash or metal records, you need to get onto this band and this album today. It's going to hit your sweet spot like nothing else. The vocals, it actually, I don't know if you agree with this, Tim, but it put me in mind a bit of Elm Street a bit here and there at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of bands like Elm Street, this is one to definitely go and give a spin to on the local level here. But that's basically Go on.
He reminds me of because I was trying to think of who the vocals reminds you, because he's not quite that high pitched, Havoc kind of vocal, but he's also not that Oriah Ditlow, or he's somewhere. And I was thinking, who's that? Is that sort of 2008 Exodus kind of era?
Okay, yeah.
It was that kind of era, kind of vocal styles. Thinking, but yeah,
it's that semi-spoken kind of style. It's got a real nice bit of grit to it. I mean, the whole thing's got some nice grit and bite overall. It's got some cool riffs, some fucking great solos in this one too. I don't think it's the most original thing in the world, and that combined with the production makes it sort of. I don't give it quite as high a score as you did. I still liked it a lot though, but it's just that whole okay. I've heard a lot of these records before. It fits the mold perfectly. If this is what you want, you're going to be very, 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 very happy very, very quickly. It's just really cool record. What I liked about them though was the way they did some nice little pen touches here and there. They changed things up when they slowed things down on the title track. There's little bits of space in that on this one too. So the album flows really nicely. And for that, another shorter record. There's something to be said about having shorter records at the moment, because I think they actually cut through more than longer ones. Do you agree with that, Tim?
Yeah, there's people have shorter attention spans these days, including us.
Yeah. I just find it, Go on.
You don't need to overstay your welcome, All killer, no filler.
Yeah, I agree with that. And anything that's left over can be done as singles and B-side stuff. There's plenty of scope to use those things. I think make your albums really punchy, and then the rest can be expanded upon. But this one's a really punchy one. The lyrics fit right into the era as well. Basically, like I said before, I've said it a few times, if you like your 80s metal, get onto this one today. It's a solid fucking record. Well worth your time. Check it out for sure. I think it's got that almost live feel again, just like the previous album does too. It's got seeing this live would be a lot of fun, I reckon. I think it'd actually probably translate better live than on record. Even though the record is good, I think it's got that. You just know that live, it'll go. That's what you feel like that.
Yep.
Into it anyway. For me, yeah, it's a good record. I think the only thing that I would have liked a few more sort of peaks and troughs and maybe slightly warmer production overall, but that's just down to taste, nothing to do with execution. The execution for what they're doing is fucking bang on. So it's just, whether this is your Goldilocks zone thing or not. But yeah, if you like it, you're going to love it very quickly. 8 out of 10 from me. Dawnbreakers, Shadowmancer, and Thunderchild are my standouts on this one, which is, cool there. Got some comments on this one too, which is nice. Going back to the social media thing for a quick second, though. Sally goes, I've been out of Facebook jail for weeks now. I can feel on watching me the prissy thing is irritating as fuck. So there we go on Facebook. Dean says, this album was hot. Could open for Metallica, if not already. Now, any iconic metal band, these guys would fit the bill as an opener for any of them at all. Dean says, are they on any festivals next year? Will go nuts. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what India's circumstances are like, so I'm not even going to try to venture a guess. But he also says it's a top 10 contender for me. Put this on a spin tomorrow, which is nice. Here we go. TJ says, remind me of the German band Rage. So that's a nice little comparison point there. Dean also agreed with Elm Street. Was trying to figure out who it reminded me of. Nicole on YouTube says early Raven sounding, which is another good one there as well. Some nice, good comparisons there. Sally says, my thing with this band is the vocal. Needs work for my ear. I can hear Dave Mustaine, and that's there is a bit of that snarl to it. It's how you spell his name. Been a long day for me, but the music is all good. Can't listen to it for too long because I want the singer to fuck off like Dave with Eddie Vedder. So there we go. Harsh, but okay. All right. Dean says, love the short one, 1-2 punch record kind of thing. So yeah, we are getting a lot of love for that kind of a format thought there too, which ties into our conversation the other day as well, Tim, about the album as a format at the moment, which is a bit contentious.
That's true.
Yeah, so it is what it is. It's the world we live in today. All right. You ready for the main event, Tim?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. In the comments, we're going to play a little bit of Screaming Jets. So in the comments, in the description, there is Screaming Jets. I'm not going to go with the obligatory better. That's played to death. Everyone knows that song. So the one I've chosen is Stop the World, which I think is kind of fitting for where we are today at the moment. So the Screaming Jets, Stop the World is the reference track. But if you know the Screaming Jets, then fucking anything from this album is a go-to one. I couldn't find a clip for FRC. If I could find one for that, I would have put that in here for sure. But anyway, that's a main event reference track. The album itself is, here we go, final review. Main event of the evening is the Screaming Jets All for One. 12 tracks, 47 minutes, the debut album from the Australian band, released April 1991 via Rue Art. Produced by Steve James at Paradise Studios. 4 singles were released, including Better and FRC. This album went on to peak at number 2 here in Australia, also going gold in this region as well. The album is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. There was supposed to be a tour and also a 30th anniversary edition of this released. It's only available to media, not available to the wider public at the moment. That said, I haven't even heard it myself, so make of that what you will. So we just went back to the original album to go and give this one a bit of attention because, you know, they can't tour, they can't release that thing at the moment, so let's give it some time. Tim, you'd have been, well, this is before you were born, this album, wasn't it?
When did it come out in the year?
91.
I was born in 91, so I was born in February, so...
Ooh, okay, this came out in April, so you were like 2 months old.
I was 6 weeks old.
How did you go going back to this one?
Look, I find listening to, you know, older Australian albums, I find an interesting listen because I think you've got to put them in the context of the time as well.
Yeah.
Now, there's always, obviously, you know, obviously, there's always been songs written about Australia or the Australian experience. And, but it's not really until like the mid-70s where you get professional musicians writing songs in Australia about Australia and then looking to make a career in Australia as, you know, professional musicians. So, you know, a lot of people refer to that era as, you know, golden age of Australian rock. But then for me, there's some teething stuff going through there because there's times where they're just throwing stuff at the wall. They're trying to see what works. Once you get to sort of this era here, this is 1991. This is where they start to figure things out. Things start to get good, right?
Yeah.
Now, Screaming Jet. Now, 1991 is an interesting year for music, obviously.
Yeah.
Because this is where things really change, and you sort of get that it's a transition between the 80s rock and 90s rock, which is two very different things. And one of the things that I found remarkable about this album is that even though this came out in April of 1991, listening back to it 30 years later, it did kind of toe the line between those two worlds very nicely, and because it aged very well. Again, you know, because production-wise, it doesn't sound like an 80s record. It just doesn't. Yeah. It sounds like a post-1990, you know, rock and roll album. Yeah. When you listen to that, which immediately takes the dating thing out of it, and the songs are well written. The songs are fantastic. They're performed really well. Obviously, there's, you know, some classics on here that, like, literally the entire country knows, which is remarkable when you think about it. But, you know, it's true. And you know, it's an album that I think tells a story and is close to people's hearts for a very good reason. So, you know, it's always good to go back and listen to these sort of things because I think as a country we need to document our experiences a little bit better, and you know, especially our musical history. You know, one of the other deaths of the last 12 months was Michael Gudinski, and you know, and you know, he's a champion of this kind of stuff, and I think, you know, we need to, as a country, start embracing Australian music a little bit better. So I think you know, this is always well worth going back to. It's a very good album, really, from start to finish. And I mean, as much as you said, you know, everybody knows better. You know, it's fucking classic earworm stuff.
Fucking great
like
song.
A lot of people. Pardon?
It's a great fucking song. Like, say what you want.
Fantastic.
It's a great fucking song. Yeah.
It's just one of those songs that's like, it's been ruined by cover bands.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's ruined by cover bands is because everybody knows it. It's such great. Yeah. But like any people, my highlight is FRC because it's just a cracker.
Yeah.
8.5 out of 10. And that's probably high. That's my own personal thing. But like, I mean, if you put it in the context of, you know, its importance to Australian music as a whole, I mean, it goes down as a classic Australian album.
Yep. Very nice. Now, I'm a little bit older than you. So remembering when this one came out, fucking Better slayed. It was all over the Saturday morning shows, all over Rage, it was all over fucking everything. Better was just fucking massive when it came out. What I love about this record, putting it on now, is just how fucking fresh and vibrant and present it sounds. It's really done one of that remarkable. We listened to the original version, and it's done that remarkable thing where it's got its timestamp, but it's not timed out because of it. It sounds fresh, vibrant, current. Songs on this, like Stop the World and FRC, belong today just as much as they did 30 years ago. I mean, that's probably more of an indictment on society than it is a credit to a band, but it is so the context is just as important. The songs are fucking bangers, and I think that Christ. Okay, I've got some comments here where someone's going, thanks for making me feel old, and I've got someone who makes me feel fucking really old after listening to this one. We'll get to that one in a second, but this album is fucking great from start to almost finish. I think they should have closed with FRC. I think the last two tracks probably padded out a bit too much. One of the two would have been better served sort of toward the middle of the album a bit more, and then the other one maybe dropped altogether. And that sounds harsh, but listening to it, when you get FRC at track 10 and then two sort of more sedate tracks by comparison as 11 and 12, it doesn't quite close as strongly as I would have liked it to. But that is such a small critique when you listen to this record from start to finish. None of the songs are bad. The whole thing flows incredibly well up to that point. And like the tracks Shine On, you don't even realize how long. That's a 6 minute plus long song. You don't even realize that when you listen to it. It's so well written, and the space, the groove. And I think the other thing that's underestimated about this band is Paul Wassine's influence on them too. Like his bass playing and his vocals, the harmonies that he provides are second to none for mine. Now, I've gotten to know Paul over the years as a great person, and love him to bits. But I just think that his impact on this band, what he brings to him is it's the whole Van Halen effect. I'm fucking drawing a blank on that. Michael Anthony. The Michael Anthony effect on Van Halen with the bass playing and the vocal. It's the same thing with this band here with the Screaming Jets and Paul Wassine.
He really fills it out very nicely.
And
just sort of gives it that whole low right up into that sort of upper mids. He manages to walk across that soundscape very nicely.
And because he's got a big vocal range too, like he can go low, he can go high, but also Gleason sits right in the middle of wherever Paul can go. Like, there's a really good 1-2 punch on the vocal side of things. It's a really nice, change of pace on this. I just love the way this thing is done. The rhythm, the groove, the riffs. When they wanted to fucking turn it up and give some bite to it, this album fucking kicks some serious fucking ass when it comes to when they wanted to really put the foot down. Blue Sashes, Come On, FRC. There's a few songs in this one that are just fucking really nice and just attack. Like Blue Sashes, that you take the Vietnam context out of that still applies to war and that sort of stuff today.
You could argue our not to get political, but there's a lot of the mistakes made in Vietnam have been made in the last 20 years. So.
Afghanistan, the same thing about the way we've done things in Afghanistan by comparison. I don't know if you've I might have dropped out there for a second. My apologies. My internet's been fucking stupid. There's comments here saying Needle and come on, a dangerous tracks while driving. That's probably true. And that's the thing too. When these guys, like I said,
Needle's a good one too, actually.
Yeah, Needle is good. Yeah, but I love Stop the World on this one. I think that's a really timeless track, perfect for the times we're in today. How many times have we all each of us have taken individual bits of time out over the last couple of years, and that just feels like the song of the times that we're in now. But like I said, FRC is just as anthemic now as it was back then. It was a fan favorite, got released as a single internationally because it was so well received by the fans. But yeah, just anyone that goes fat rich cunts, they got my attention. So it's gonna do it pretty fucking quick. And just again, the timelessness of the stories and the lyrics is really cool as well. So I just think it was cool putting out the post early today about this record, and people are going, "Fuck, I haven't listened to this in ages. I'm gonna go back and listen to it now because you jog the memory." And hearing that sort of stuff from people is really, really cool. We have some of the best bands of all time in the world right now and in the past in Australia. What you were saying before about documenting Australian history is important. That's a big core of what we do here at the show. It's we make it a mission of ours to help get Australian music out there to as many people as we can. But this is fucking great. If you've never heard this record, well, fuck me, you got to listen to it. You've got to listen to it. It's a fucking cracker from start to finish. I love it to bits. In case you can't tell, I think the mix is phenomenal for the time. It sounds so good. I can't get away with not saying the mix. Like, the mix is fucking phenomenal. It sounds so good for a 30-year-old release. My God. It's well played.
It's just the right kind of big.
It is, isn't it? It walks like better. The song better. The reason why it's so big is because the space in the song.
But because it's also got because again, 1991 is an interesting year soundscape-wise, right?
Yeah, true.
But it's got that snare drum, right? Mm-hmm. It's managed to toe the line in between the Phil Collins snare drum and Dave Grohl or Nevermind.
Yeah. Yes.
It sits right in the middle, which is almost which is honestly if you were to say this was a perfect drum sound.
Yeah.
It's up there with the Dave Grohls and the Phil Rudds and the John Bonhams, right? And you start out with that, then you put that, as you said, the bass player on top of that, again, with the harmonies.
I love the tone. The bass tone, too. The bass
tone is fantastic. And then the guitars, are they're like your Gronkowski of this record, right? When they need to be salt and pepper, they're salt and pepper.
Patriots and fucking Buccaneers, too, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. But when they need to, you can't. Gronk's an asshole, but he's a good player.
Oh fuck! Hey, I say it with love because fuck me, you'd love to have him on your team.
When they need to be salt and pepper, they're salt and pepper. When they need to go, they go, and it's really. And then the vocals just sit wherever they need to sit to just punch. It's just a really stunningly put together song, sound space.
Yep. No, it's so good. Wow, Dean, dude. Sorry, I'll get to the comments a bit. Fucking never said. Oh, okay, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna get to that. But yeah, I love this record, start to finish. I know I critique the back two tracks, but seriously, they're good tracks anyway. It's just that it would have been better to close on FRC than have those two afterward. But that's the smallest critique I can give of this record. I think it's fantastic. It sounds great, and it's held up so fucking well. One of the rare gems that takes you back, but is also keeps you present, and that's very hard to do. It really, really is hard to do.
Oh, it's so great storytelling.
Yeah, true. It's funny because we compare this to Ministry last on Monday night. Ministry is very much a now album. If there was no pandemic, that wouldn't make any sense. This album, by comparison, 30 years later, feels just as present as the Ministry one.
Exactly.
Does. Which is a really, like you said, the storytelling. That's such a nod to just good songwriting and lyric writing at the same time. So yeah,
and I'm a big fan of going for with recording, not following the trends, and just we're getting a good sound, making sure your instruments sound like instruments. If so long as you do that, you'll never timestamp your recording.
Yeah. There's no tricks on this one. Like, you listen to Midnight Oil from the same era, and there's, you know, a lot of Foley and stuff going on, and that has a certain dated feel to it. This one, they avoided those things, went for just, like you said, getting good records, good sound, and making it into a good record. Yeah. So well done. But yeah, we'll get to the comments in a moment. But yeah, for me, 9 out of 10. FRC, Stop the World, and Better. You have to be Better. I mean, fuck me, it's a great song. But there are, like I said, no duds on this. Like, you got so many others, like Needle, Sashes. Come on, there's heaps of great tracks on this one. Don't listen to, if you've heard Better and you haven't gotten into it because of that, listen to the rest of the fucking record. Please listen to the rest, because there's something here for everyone. Like, Shine On is a fucking beautiful song. So there's heaps here.
Even Better. I mean, it's a victim of its own success. Partly because it's incredibly well written.
But you put it on, and it's still just as infectious as it was.
It's a bit of like the Enter Sandman thing, where you're just like, okay, cool, and then you put it on, you go, you know what? There's a reason why everyone's heard it. It's because it's a really good song.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that just, you know, you just put it on and you're taken away. Whether you were growing up with it or whether you came to it later on, that song is still just as capturing as it ever was. It hasn't lost anything over 30 years. I think it's fantastic. And if you can do one of those songs in your career, you've done fucking well. These guys are more than that. So this album has more than one song for mine. But hey, yeah, love it to bits. Check it out if you haven't. Please do. Some good comments here, though. What do we got here? Going back a bit. Okay, we do have to go back a bit. Well done. Thanks for everyone for jumping into the comments. This is cool. I actually really like what we're getting in the comments in this one. It's good to have the main event drag the most attention now. Nude says the re-recording is due next week from memory. Okay, cool. Have to keep an eye out for that. Tim, Nicole says, Christ, thanks for making me feel old. Don't worry, I feel the pain. On that one.
I have that effect sometimes on the show.
When you're with us here, yeah, that kind of happens a little bit.
No, age is just a number.
It is, and that actually is more like, you find that the older you get, the less relevant the number is as well. It really doesn't mean a whole fucking lot as you get older. TJ, I think, has shared a link in the comments on Facebook. I think it's to FRC. He's gone, yeah, FRC, you're welcome. So I can't put it up, but yeah, and the platform we've got here. But yeah, if you're on Facebook, go and check that out. Sally says, this song is killer. So is the band. Still into them. I have friends who go full driving with Dave Gleason. Apparently he puts on a great barbecue, down-to-earth, fun-loving Aussie bloke. The whole band is like that. They're just great blokes in general. I do mean that with a lot. Like, I know Paul the best, but they're great guys. Had never had anything bad to say about these guys at all. They're fucking great to hang around with. Dean says, played this today as well. It could have been released as a fresh album today. Dave has a fantastic voice. They're up there with AC/DC, The Angels, and Rose Tattoo for me. They should have broken it more overseas. Same with The Angels. Love the album. They did spend a couple of years touring overseas after this one, but it didn't quite cut through for them. But I'm glad they come back and play packed out shows. When they play to a packed room at like the Corner, it's fucking on. It's fantastic. Nude says, Aussie music. Yeah, Aussie music needed its jets at the time. We needed a loudmouth frontman to stir things up like Brian Mannix in the 80s. Very true. That's a good point there. TJ says, Grant Walmsley can write a fucking tune. Yes, he certainly can. He was the main writer of Better, for that matter. Dean says, it's classic Aussie pub rock and roll album from a classic Aussie pub rock and roll band. Very sad they didn't make it overseas along with the Angels. I think over time their legacy is actually going to expand. I know that sounds a bit, preemptive right now, but I think over time it will get bigger than that. But if you want to feel old, Nicole, this one's for you. Dean says, I wasn't even born when this came out, born in 95. So that's making us all feel, yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to leave that one alone. Christ. Anyway, the Man Family on YouTube, thanks for joining us tonight. Stage presence, Dave and the band gave was huge back then. See him live, and if people saw this now, they would want to piss off the Pokies rooms, and every pub can have the band space again. Completely agree. These guys are fucking live. You've seen them, Tim?
Oh, Screaming Jets. I've seen them once, actually, yeah.
They
are really good, but the Pokies comment is bang on as well.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Fuck the Pokies off. TJ's clarified things for me, saying they close with surfer type tunes from Newy. What do you do? That's pretty true as well. Fair enough. Well played to him. Dean also said Shine On should have closed the album for me. Got that Ride On or Night Prowler by Akadaka vibe. Okay, yeah, I get that one. Ride On or Night Prowler.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. I do think it works nicely in the middle of the album though. But yeah, I would have been pretty happy with that. Nicole also said, I'll say it again, Australia has amazing talent, and that is exactly why we do what we do. Dino said, come on, and Needle at dangerous tracks while driving, not recommended. Well, depends on who you are, but I like driving those sorts of songs. And TJ also said the driving intro on Needle. Yep, it's one of those ones. Got the regulars on here. Dean says we need an Aussie to a rose tattoo and Screaming Jets after the shit is over and a full house in a pub again. That would be pretty cool, actually. That would be a nice night out. Nudes. Seen them 10 plus times and they've never seen them play Stop the World. Spewing. Fuck. Wow.
Interesting.
Considering how much I love that song, that would suck, man. My sympathies to you entirely on that one. Dean says fat rich cunts, which is, what everyone says. TJ says, remember seeing Jets and Barnsley at Torquay in 91 Water Show? That would have been fucking epic, man. That would have been absolutely epic.
Jets
Dean also, and Barnsley.
That would have been great.
That would have been a great show. Especially back then, too. They were both on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Dean says, never seen the Jets live, but that will be unfucked when they tour after this pandemic is over. Seen Dave with the Angels, but never with the Jets. He sounds better now than ever. Fuck, man. If you've only seen Dave with the Angels, my God. He's fun with the Angels. He goes off with the Jets, mate. You are in for a fucking treat. He's also said the song Come On Make You Go Through an Entire Building. But then also our good friend Tim, T1000, that we know here on the show, he's gone, flogged this album when it came out. It's still the only album they've ever released on vinyl. So there's a good little side fact for everyone there as well. Didn't know that, so thanks for sharing. That
would make sense, though. Again, 91.
Yeah, definitely. Dean says the album flew by. Lee says just pulled out of my bed, pulled out my beaten drumstick from Rosie to reminisce while listening to this album after the show. Awesome. Good to see that sort of stuff going on.
Very cool.
And TJ said, yep, Steve James produced this like a motherfucker. And if you can find it, check out Screaming Jets MTV Pub Live from Newcastle. Best live gig ever. Okay, I haven't seen that one. Have to check it out. Dean's apologized for the comments. Nicole's gone, bought my first house then in 95. So well done to you.
So if you were born in 95, let me just say it's all downhill from here.
You got some catching up to do, mate. You wait and see.
No, mate. No, but it's true. Like when you turn 26, that's the time where you're like, oh, my knee's kind of sore, and then it just never gets better.
Yep.
26 is the age where like you start noticing like if I eat certain foods at certain times, I wake up with an upset stomach.
Yeah. My first back injury of many was when I was 20. So that kind of
that'll do it.
That'll do it, and I'm done. I'm not doing anything anymore. That's why I do this and not a lot else. But yeah, so Nicole, the nudes also said follow-up Tira thought is epic too. Yeah, it's a good one there as well. And Dean says thanks a lot, Tim, for that comment there. But yeah, like I said, wait, you got some catching up to do. It once it catches up to you, it's a bit of a fun ride. I got kids in their 20s, so make of that what you will. But I believe that brings us to the conclusion of proceedings tonight. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around with us. Hope you had a bit of fun with us as well. Sorry, Sally's gone. Yep, Tim tells it like it is. 30-year-old, shit starts going south. Yeah, for me it was 20s, but 30 plus is when it starts to really feel it. When you get into your 40s, it's like, this shit sucks.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, you wait. You'll get there and you'll experience it. If you've already got aches and pains now, it's coming. But the thing is that
30 years old, I got 2 meniscus tears.
I had 7 months of rehab on my knees. I've had a few years of rehab on my back. My neck's gone. I've had a hand, my neck.
Yeah.
Oh fucking! I've wrecked myself. Yes, TJ, I do. I have kids in their 20s, so make of that what you will. I look pretty good. So, and Nicole's gone, 6 kids and 10 grandkids here. Well, we haven't got the grandkids yet. That's blissfully not on the horizon just yet. I'm not keen for that moment. But we'll take it from there.
You say all that right now, but eventually you'll be excited by it.
Oh, mate, look, honestly, Jody and I talk about it, and when the time actually happens, we'll be excited as fuck. But the best part will be we can give the kid back. So we've done the hard part. Yeah. So that's it. And we get to give the toys and make all the fucking noise. But at the same time, we're planning things like big Halloweens and Christmases for the grandkids and that.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You just have the fun part, and then you just give them back.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with the other shit. We've got the dogs for that. I don't need to worry about kids anymore. But yeah. Dogs keep me going. Sally's gone 31 back injury, 2 years to get it. Yeah, it takes a long time to get over him. And Dean says, thanks for the injury update, Sandra. We were all fucked then. That's true. And Nude says, I'm 50 next year, still act like him in Wayne's World. And Dean
nothing
says,
wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all, mate. And Dean says, hope I can still stand in a mosh at 40 plus. You can stand, you just can't do much beyond that.
Yeah, you'll be standing. I don't know. I think once you get to 40, I think your crowd killing days are over.
Oh, mate, I stand at the back and watch now. I don't do fuck all apart from that.
Yeah.
But there's actually a cool part of that, because when you go to a place like Festival Hall and you're just at the back on the balcony, I know it sounds not rock and roll, but you actually watch the whole show and you watch how the band work the crowd and stuff. There's a different way of looking at a show when you get beyond getting up front of the rail kind of thing, because the rail days are done for a long time.
There's both. You enjoy it. I remember the last time I saw King Parrot in the corner.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not going to get in the pit. I'm not going to get in the pit. And then one song came on. I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll jump in. And then I jumped in. Then after one song, I was just like, okay, I'll stand back now.
Yeah. See, the difference is that because of my injury history, Jody sees me wanting to go. And then she goes with a little fucking lead. Basically, I know you ain't doing shit, because the last time I did do something, I moshed for 3 minutes for one song. I was fucked for 3 months. So,
man. It's not worth it.
It ain't worth it. No. So I need Jody's a good handbrake in those moments. I'm grateful for her, because if I didn't have that, I'd be completely fucked. And she's the maturity in our relationship. I'll put it that way, because I'm not. So that's where it lands in that one. Where have we got here? Nicole says, never have them overnight. I'm not a babysitter. And that's the way to play it when you're a grandparent. You don't have them overnight. You just get to sort of take him, put him back, and that's it. Dean says, yep, we're all fucked then. Well, good luck, mate. You're a young'un. Matthew said, I had a Nickelback injury in my 30s. Never been the same since. So there we go. Just for a bit of fun here.
You never made it as a wise man.
Yeah, that's true.
Couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing.
This is fantastic. Tim says, I'm 47 in 2 weeks, only a couple of years away from buying a mobility scooter. Here we go. So, Nicole, it's the other way around, obviously. Your hubby is the fun police. My wife is the one that keeps me well and truly in check, and believe me, I need it. And Sally says, oh my, the heart is willing, the body says you wish. And that's pretty much what it's like. And that's why I say you learn to watch later on. You learn to watch the band work the crowd. I take that in more. I enjoy that side of it.
I kind of get that. But like, see, my favorite spot ideally is like the edge of the pit.
Yeah, it's fun there. It is fun there. I still try to.
I can. Like, if someone, because I'm a big guy too, so if someone tries to cow kill me, I'll just fucking fuck them off. Or they'll go and then they'll like see me and they go, okay, next person.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that's like, I feel like I'm involved, but I'm still can kind of just stand there. So that's
I get
that's my favorite spot.
Yeah, but I get the grumpy old man vibes these days. When someone you get the one fuckwit at the edge of the pit too. There's always that one fuckwit that is just a moron and just swinging.
I remember when we were at it was Soundwave one year. It was the year Killer Be Killed played.
Okay, yeah.
It was during Killer Be Killed, and it was the last song, which was Snakes of Jehovah.
Yep.
And I remember it because if you listen to that song, it does have that mosh pit feel. right? And what's his name from Dillinger Escape Plans, like climbing up on the fucking scaffolding. Yeah. And there's this one dude in the pit who was just fucked up, right?
There's always one.
But he was fucked up to the point where he was just being a cock. Yeah. But he was Superman. Like people were like beating the shit out of him because he was being a dick, and he just felt no pain. Right?
Cocaine,
and he's doing that, and then all of a sudden, of course, someone doesn't realize what's happening. So then they just start a brawl, and there's just bodies flying everywhere while Snakes of Jehovah's playing, and it just felt like a movie.
Yeah,
but it just felt right.
Yeah,
it's a happy place. There's just bodies flying everywhere, and then fucking Greg Puciato's like, kill everything inside of my heart. So many demons.
Yep.
And it's great. It's just great. I miss it. Can't wait to get back.
We're gonna get there. We're not that far away now, which is the good thing.
I think the last big mosh I would have been in would have been Slayer at Download.
Yeah, you did jump into that.
Yeah, I was watching Priest before from the Slayer end, so I was right at the front.
Yeah, and you got up front for Weaponry too, didn't you?
I was up front for Weaponry. I was up front for Behemoth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got that one. Yeah, because I was. Yeah, I think the closest I got to the action was Weaponry at Soundwave.
Weaponry was good though because it wasn't too. Because it was on the concrete as well.
Yeah.
So everyone was fairly responsible.
Yeah. And it was early in the day too, so no one was really, really wasted yet as well, which was better. But I think that's as close as I got to anything much recently. But even then, I'm still sitting back. Just, like I said before, I would love to. It's the whole thing about, the mind is when the body ain't going to go there. It's just I know that I'll pay for it for 3 to 5 months if I do it. And it's like,
Oh, look, it's not worth it at that point. I mean,
no.
You got to look after yourself as well. And, at the end of the day, I mean, live music's live music. So it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoy. I've learned. It took me a while, but I've learned to, enjoy what I do get out of it now. I do miss that whole vibe of just going, fuck it, I'm going in there. But, you've got responsibility, so you can't quite do that anymore. But I do miss it, but at the same time, I'm just as happy to sit back. And like I said, the other things I've noticed over the years, like being production head, paying attention to the sound, and also things like what the band is doing to work the crowd up, and just watching that byplay. It's like, watching a wrestling match where the next thing's coming kind of thing, and it's like, okay, I like watching the pantomime, the way it all plays out. It's like going to the theater.
You watch the smart workers.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it these days. So I still get just as much joy out of it. It's just a different kind of joy. But I do like watching the young ones get in there and throw themselves around a bit too. Just living vicariously through them a little bit because I can't do it no more. But yeah, it's good value. Got some good comments here too, just for the record. Dean says, Android 80 in a wheelchair going through the mosh. Get the fuck out of my way, you fat rich cunt. So that'll be something. It'll be a walking stick first. That's on the cards for the wheelchair, but you never know.
The walking stick, you'll be in the pit like Yoda.
Mate, fuck me. I'm keen to get a really good walking stick. I'm actually looking forward to that moment when I actually...
That's what I mean. You could be in the pit like Yoda doing like your Jedi moves, just kicking everyone out.
Yeah, I used to do the stick fighting as well, so it'd be.
That's what I mean. Like,
it'd be something I know how to do at least. We'll go with that. Nicole says, "So long as I don't go deaf, I'll be happy. The body can fall apart for all I can." Now that would be true. I'd rather go blind than lose my hearing. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I'm already kind of blind, but I'm also kind of deaf.
Sorry, didn't even think of that when I put the fucking words out. Sorry.
Well, to be fair, I'm already kind of deaf as well. So
no, yeah, I've managed to look after one pretty well. I guess doing the production stuff earlier made me really pay attention to my ears. They're not perfect, but I'm not doing too bad for the decade I'm in. Nude says still get in fun brawls over a set list. Yeah, see, I stay the fuck away from the rails these days. I can't go anywhere near it. Lee says, always beneficial being a big fella in the pit. Do recall Anthrax in 91 when big dude stage dive and the pit moved and the show was stopped for the ambulance to retrieve the poor soul. The memories of Joey telling us to back the shit up. Now, that would be a hell of
that is the downside of being a big dude, is that the times that you want to crowd surf, you just, no.
No, don't. Just don't do it.
Bad idea.
Yeah. Sally's gone, let me out. Yeah, we're all waiting for those gigs, I tell you now. Dean says, imagine the moshes when this is all over. It's going to go ape shit and more bigger than before. Here's hoping, mate. Fingers crossed we get a resurgence.
It's either going to do that or it's going to be like
the other way.
Why are we all so close together? This is weird.
Yeah, it'll be a moment. I reckon it'll be a moment. We all went to your gig at Musicland. That was the first time I've been out in 12 months.
And it was strange.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was strange having, 60 people in a small room walking around with no mask on.
Yeah.
And that was in January.
Yeah. And that's nearly a year ago now as well. We'll break that down. So it's
and it did and you could see people were in their little spaces.
Yeah.
So, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think there's also going to be, people that break the ice first, and I mean, eventually it's going to get back to normal. So
it'll get there. We're creatures of habit. At the end of the day, we'll fall back into being the pack animal again.
Yep,
so that'll work. TJ's on Swap Pantera on the Far Beyond Driven Tour, 2 nights running at Festi. Night 1 in the pit, night 2 bought tickets at the door. And got second row balcony right behind the desk facing the stage. Fuck, dead center. Such a different perspective. Such a great spot to see the show on night 2 after being battered from night 1. That's a great spot up there, believe it or not. I really do.
That's perfect.
I've seen Steel Panther from that.
2 nights, that's perfect.
Yeah. I've seen Steel Panther from that balcony spot. It's a fucking cracking spot. It really is good. The sound is perfect too, for that matter. All right, so Dean's gone. Just stand at the back with a quiet beer and enjoy it. Rest your body. Yeah, that's what I do these days. I've learned to do that. Nudes has departed saying, catch you later. You're kicking off Channel 44, so good. Thank you for tuning in. Sally said, agreed, nuts I reckon. I'm not sure what comment that's in reply to, but there we go. Lee, edit 1990 at Glasshouse. Have the bootleg recording on tape. Fuck, that'd be cool. Nicole says, I find myself analysing bands these days, and that's what I do a lot of the time anyway, so it's just natural for me. Dean says, Andrew Yoda, this needs to happen. Mate, I'm so out of shape these days, not even close to funny. I've got to go and get some practice in first, but hey, there we go. And Nicole, me too, Tim, hearing aids already. Damn, bugger. Yeah. That sucks. And Tim says, my knees can barely get through a 2-hour gig these days. I can barely walk for 2 days after going to download. Fuck being old. Unfortunately, time waits for no one. We're all going to get our little doses of those things. To that end, time is upon us. Let's get this thing wrapped up so we can all let everyone get to bed. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share, all the usual things everyone gets you to do. Our details are in the description of this video or audio, whatever you're tuning in from. So please like, follow, subscribe. Your preferred social media platform. Don't have to do everything. Just pick one. And do the same thing for our fantastic sponsors as well. Big thank you to Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Thank you so much for your support. Please find them, give them a follow. Their details, just like ours, are in the description or the post. If you want to help us out directly, we've got a lot of stuff going on with Patreon at the moment. So for those that are with our Patreon page, like Tim and Dean, you'll know this one. There's a lot going on in there these days. So if you feel like just even giving a gold coin donation every month, be greatly, greatly appreciated. The link for that is in the description too. Anyway, but that's sort of the usual stuff. Make sure you check it out on television. So right now, we've just started on Channel 44 in Adelaide, 10 p.m. Australian Central Time on Channel 44 in Adelaide, and then 10:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Time on Channel 31 in Melbourne. That's where we're on Saturday nights. So make sure you check us out on telly. We've got a new format of the show coming on Saturday this week. It's not overly new, but we're trying something a bit different to give it a go and see how things work out. I think everyone will enjoy it. Let us know if you tune in. But anyway, that's it for now. It's time for our favorite part of every episode where we go to the bin, and everyone else is at their shot, Tim. So now it's yours. What do you got for the bin today?
Well, I'm in ISO at the moment, so look, I don't have like all that many things going wrong with stupid people annoying me. Because I mean, my life right now is Xbox and Uber Eats, which is shit could be worse. But I will like. unfortunately, like, it does. I do get caught up in some serious things sometimes, but the lack of coverage of the Panama Papers story this week was a bit disappointing.
Of what? Sorry.
The lack of coverage on the Panama Papers story this week was quite disappointing.
Yes.
But the only person outside of the original article that I saw share it was a professor at Boston University. So
it's a big deal, that.
Yeah.
But sorry, they've got to peg Dan for a non-event. But compared to the Panama Papers.
Yeah, look, because I mean, this is a disappointing thing. I think instinctually, a lot of us know the way the world's run is wrong, and unfortunately, we get caught up in choosing the wrong targets for who's fucking it up. And unfortunately, as people, we have enough resources to go around for everybody if we all share our resources amongst each other. And unfortunately, there are a lot of greedy people, or not very many greedy people, who are hoarding a lot of the resources and hiding it from everybody else, and then saying there's just not enough to go around. Frankly, there is.
Definitely. I feel you. I'd also like to put on the more serious side of things, COVID at the cancer ward in the Children's Hospital. That's terrifyingly bad, and my sympathies to all those there. I've had, not myself, but I have people I love that have spent a lot of time at the Children's Hospital and have been there, watching them go through it. It's fucked up. And getting COVID in that ward, terrifying. I feel for all the families.
I've spent time at Royal Melbourne Children's Hospital at one point in life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of people have. So they do fantastic work there, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they are. Yeah, they're the fucking greatest there.
Yeah, like I've literally watched the Children's Hospital work it out as they go and save people I love. So they're the best. So just for that note, just for a serious fucking note, I can't stand that COVID got in there, and it's already a pressure-packed environment. It's already so stressful in those rooms that it's not funny. COVID's just a layer they didn't need, so that can get in the bin. On a more personal note, before I get to the comments, Francis Galbally, you fucking prick. Tim, you'll appreciate this, hopefully. You know who I'm talking about, I hope?
Francis?
Yeah, Francis Galbally.
Which one's this?
This is the guy who's the Collingwood power broker.
Oh, yeah.
So
I saw the story.
This dickhead puts his little motion into the Collingwood Football Club in person today to spill all 7 board positions, claiming it's for fucking democracy and membership and fucking whatever else. You prick. You fucking dead set prick. Okay? You couldn't have waited 24 hours to do it tomorrow. You had to do it today. Today is the 30th anniversary of Darren Mullane's death, you fucking piece of shit. Okay? You don't go and trigger a board spill on the anniversary of Darren Mullane's death if you're a Collingwood person. This is you throwing your toys out of the cot because Mark Corder didn't stand down at the time you fucking wanted him to. Fuck you. Get in here. You're not a Collingwood person. You're just fucking someone trying to stroke your own fucking ego. Fuck off.
Yeah, today's a Collingwood supporters public holiday.
Yes. It's like, you prick. You don't get to do that. Fuck off. I can't believe. Like, if you're a Collingwood person, you don't do anything today.
You just know that. You don't do that on well, but yeah. So Mullane died a few months before I was born. I grew up hearing the story of Darren Mullane.
Yeah. I remember
That's just part of being a Collingwood supporter.
Yeah. The mythology around the bloke is fucking great. Pants is a fucking all-time icon. And I remember when the news broke, the night that he went, it was like, fuck me dead. Like, it was huge. But yeah, I can't believe that, someone who wants to be a Collingwood power broker and change the board and stuff and cares about democracy and Collingwood and that, you don't do that on today. You don't. No. Fucking. Anyway, let's get to some audience bins because they're more fun than mine. So, Sally, as a fun change of pace, in the bin, running out of chocolate. I feel.
Oh my God, yes.
That sucks. Nicole says, having to make the decision to get your 12-year-old vaccinated who hates needles. I don't envy you that. I'm glad that our kids are old enough to make the decision for themselves, and they've all gone and done it, which is good. But yeah, it's not a good time in that regard.
Yeah, the needles thing I get. Like,
yeah,
it's natural to not like needles.
Yeah. Hey, covered in ink. Hate needles. Hate injections. But I got my jab twice. I'm all good. I'm all for it. But yeah, that sucks though. Dean says, in the bin, waiting for joint pains and backaches to come haunt me. Thanks, Andrew. Hope I can still drum 30 plus years from now.
Oh man, let me tell you. So there were days where like we'd play at the Brunny, because the headline said the Brunny was 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's a late night.
1 to 2, and of course you'd run late, so you'd end up getting on stage at 2 a.m. Play till 3 on a Friday night. Play till 3 a.m. You load out, you chit chat. You know what it's like at a gig. Plus, it's Brunswick. I live in Frankston, so by the time I get home, it's 4 a.m. And at this point, like I used to start work at 6:30 on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
Right, so I'd get home at 4 o'clock, jump in the shower, sleep for an hour and a half, get 2 Red Bulls on the way to work, go to work, and be fine. You can do that when you're 25. You can't do that when you're 27.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a big difference. Yep.
Yeah.
So
when you're 25, it's no problem. When you're 27, 28, it's like, ooh, I used to do this. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm really lucky that in my 40s I can still function on like 4 or 5 hours sleep. I'm still lucky in that regard. So I'm doing all right.
No, but that's the thing. There's a difference between 5 hours sleep and 2 hours sleep.
There is a massive difference.
When you're 25, 2 hours sleep, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later on, not so much.
Not so much. Doesn't work that way.
Nicole has agreed. Oh no, not the hospital. COVID in the bin. So that's all of us there. Dean says, in the bin, COVID through the cancer ward at Children's Hospital, not to the sick kids who may never come out whether they have cancer or not. And that's very true, mate. If anyone that's been there knows how heart wrenching a time that is in anyone's life. It's fucking horrible. Dean, go on. Sorry.
Cancer ward in the Children's Hospital is like the most depressing thing.
It's fucked. Yeah, it's no good. Dean says, 100% Andrew, I agree with you, and I'm not even a Collingwood supporter, referring to Gabelli and Mullane. That's it's not cool. TJ says, great job, guys. The bin equals in goes Lars Ulrich for saying only this week after nearly 20 years he finally understands Jason Newsted's reasons for leaving Metallica. Back in your toothpick jar, midget.
Toothpick jar.
That's a good one. I like that. I'm going to steal that one. I think that's a good one.
I can just see him in some kind of monster with his bleached hair.
Yeah.
With his toothpick.
Yep. That's a good call. Very funny, that one. Good. Sorry, Dean's going, yep, on the anniversary, definitely a good day for Collingwood. I'm not turning 27. I'll stay at 26 then. So, yeah, don't join the 27 club, whatever you do. And then also, been through the ward at Children's Hospital, and it's painful to see. Yeah, it's not fun. I had someone I care about a lot when they were young, barely given 2 weeks to live, and they made it through till they're in their 30s today. So, make of that what you will. But that's all thanks to Children's Hospital. So I owe them a great deal, not for myself personally, but for someone else that I care a great deal about. So, yeah, best wishes to all there on a more somber note as it is. But also, on that point, Dean says, fuck 27 club. So, yeah, don't join that club. It's not that glamorous. It's not worth it.
I don't know. Like, the day you turn 28 is a little bit disappointing because of that.
It wasn't that big of a deal when I turned 27.
Well, I mean, like, because we were all 14 thinking, oh, man, by the time I turn 27, we're going to be, like, 5 albums deep and be, like, just
we do
drowning in rockstar glory.
Yeah.
And then the day you turn 28, it's like, okay, time to get a job.
That's pretty much where it's at, isn't it? That's how it works. But anyway, Dean says it's been great, lads. Thank you very much. Look, thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you had a great night. These, tend to get longer and longer as we sit here enjoying our chats more and more, but they're a lot of fun and we get through a lot and it's all good. So hopefully you're all enjoying it as well.
For 2 nights a week, we can forget about the rest of the world around us.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? It really is. I've got a dog here that wants to get out of this room. So he's just fucking trying to get my attention like nothing else. While he's knocking everything over in sight, and he's a big fucking boy. But yeah, hopefully we bring everyone a bit of joy, like you were saying. We get to forget about the world and just have some fun, talk about some shit we actually love, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So it's a bit of fun all around, and we love it. So hopefully you guys enjoy the ride with us too. Get some good comments here. So Nicole saying, thanks all for another wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate it. And Dean's gone, was a laugh. Cheers, lads. Sally says, 52 guys, thanks for this. It's fun. It's good. I'm glad to see we're putting smiles on people's faces. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. If we provide a little bit of levity and entertainment, especially these days, that's what it's all about. But we'll leave it there. We'll wrap it up. Thank you one and all for joining us. And I know it's a weeknight, but we do appreciate your time. And if you're tuning in later on, we do appreciate you just as much, because whenever you do check this out via video or audio, we do appreciate you spending a bit of time with us. And hopefully you enjoy our antics as much as we enjoy presenting them to you. But until next time, I'm Andrew.
Tim.
As always, you know what to do, folks.
Drink up.
And rock on.